Your old or broken phone can let you down when you need it most.
Perfect.
But at Verizon, trade in any old phone from our top brands and get the most for it, up to $2,000 in value, for an amazing new iPhone 16 Pro with Apple Intelligence and a new line on My Plan, and iPad and Apple Watch Series 10. That's like a 3-for-1. And you can get it on any plan. At Verizon, trade in your old phone for a brand new iPhone 16 Pro, iPad, and Apple Watch. The other guys won't give you that. Visit Verizon.com today. Additional terms apply. Service plan required for Apple Watch and iPad. Up to $2,000 value based on iPhone, iPad, and Apple Watch.
This is Jordan Grace, and you're listening to the Social Suplex Podcast Network.
BWB, this is One Nation Radio. You better get it right. Rich Latta, James Boyd came to give them life. The Blackest Wrestling Podcast has come to kick all ass and drop it 6 feet if they kicking trash. Word, let me welcome y'all to something different. And if you dig it, man, you should let some friends listen. We be getting it in, this on the regular, dude. Ravish and flow, but this shit rude. See, James don't rap, so I had to break it down. The whole network, man, we coming for the crown. Raps in the columns, I keep them both covered. Making the beats too, so the listeners can bump it. Hit us with the rating, yeah, I'm saying it's a 5. Before you hit it, talk, bob your head side to side. It's One Nation Radio, and this is the beginning. It's Rich, and I'm here with James. It's time to listen to One Nation.
You got to unleash the power of the pyramid.
This is Mike Sempervive from WrestlingObserver.com. Check me out on Wrestling Observer Live every day. And also check out your boys, Rich and James, on One Nation Radio.
This is Kenny Omega. We're listening to One Nation Radio. Check it out, guys. These guys know what's up. Big Kenny Omega fans, and that's all that counts to me. Goodbye and good night. Bang.
Hey, folks. Welcome to this week's edition of One Nation Radio, a revolutionary edition of One Nation Radio. Rich,
look at that.
What's going on, man?
Not much, man. Just here ready to talk about what, I've described this show as like, all right, this is one of the greatest shows of all time but if the main event had been anything approaching good, it might have been the greatest show of all time. So, like, I'm very high on this show. Got a lot to talk about with it. And before we get to that, though, there was some other interesting stories, but I'm chilling. I got a pretty funny story, too.
Okay.
So about, Taekwondo today, man. I done bust somebody face open today, bro.
What? Who you hit, man?
I don't want to say I bust their face open. I think that's actually unfair, but I got teenagers in there training with me.
Shit, he beating up kids.
They're full of energy, but they be, with each other, they be talking shit to each other and all that, right? So, they were in there going back and forth with each other, and one of the kid that's like in the block next to me, he's gonna end up being my training partner for the day, and all we were gonna be doing was, throwing some jabs or whatever, and you're gonna find this hilarious and familiar too. So this guy, like basically the instructor, is giving the directions on how to hold the those pads that you hold where people can like punch or kick pads essentially. So he's giving the instructions on how you hold them so nobody fucks you up. And also he's talking about apparently, you ever seen the karate headgear? They have face masks for it now, whatever.
Really?
And I had never seen that before, and I was like, huh? Like, and then I was like, man, they better block. Like, I said that before the whole shit, and then like the Grandmaster, he like kind of laughed or whatever. He's like, yeah, but it's safer or whatever. And I was like, all right, something new or whatever. So the kid next to me, he's not paying attention really at all, like about like holding this shit steady and all that. And I don't know if he was nervous or whatever, but they're going back and forth with like the red belts and shit. And it's like, bro, you need to pay attention, because you're not paying attention. Your ass ain't gonna have a technique. So here I am, I'm dead serious. I'm always locked in or whatever. So he's holding the thing up, right? Like, so it's like this, essentially. Like, if you guys can't hear me in the audio, it's just like holding like a hat in front of you or whatever, right? But he doesn't have his wrist locked at all or squeezed or anything. And before this, he tells him, hey, man, you need to have your hands up and you have to have a firm grip, because that shit will hit you in the nose and whatever. So, bro. So there's like the rule when you're doing like, stuff with partners, you do 20% of your power. So that's what I do. 20% or whatever. I'm not even really going, I would never do 100% or whatever. And like, this is probably like, I'd probably say like an 8th grader or something, right? But, kind of got some size on him. He has the thing up, the first jab that I throw, whatever, just lean forward, bow, and we got to do the footwork too. This man, this shit bonks and hits him in the nose or whatever, right? And then he's like, I saw a look on his face like he didn't like, it was like he didn't expect that shit to do. I was like, yo, you got to hold your wrist and also keep your hand up in the back. Like, and at first, like, he just kept his hand down or whatever. I was like, bro, you got to pick your hand up. You're fucked up out here, essentially. So we go through, the exercise or whatever, right? And, I basically, on my side, I'm showing, you got to hold it like this and strong or whatever. And then before the last round that he's supposed to go where he's hitting my pads, he takes off like running to the bathroom or whatever. I think he has to use the bathroom or some shit, right? I didn't see the blood go or anything, but apparently his nose just, now you're leaking.
Damn it.
And then the professor or grandmaster was like, this is exactly why we wear these face masks now or whatever. And I was like, bro, I felt so bad. I was like, he was like, bro, basically like the instructor was like, don't feel bad. This needs to happen, whatever. Cause he was like, he wasn't paying attention or whatever. And he was like, this is a perfect lesson or whatever. I was like, yo, I felt so bad. I was like, damn, like I was like, fuck. Cause like, you're giving your body or, whatever to your partner or whatever. But like, if they don't cooperate, like, that ain't my fault. Like, so it's exactly like when I remember me and your stepbrother Brian, like one time we was at your house and I don't know what happened, but like I just threw like a back punch, like just to get off me or stop messing with me or whatever, and then like it hit him in the nose and he was leaking. I was like, I don't know what these things is deadly or whatever.
I do not remember this, but I just remember Brian would always get into some issue. Like, it's always some issue. But yeah, man.
But I saw that shit today and I was like, oh my God. I was like, bro, like, this is the value of paying attention. Like, and bro, they was fucking around before the class. They was fucking around during instructions. And that was like immediate comeuppance that I hope he didn't go home and cry. Let's just say that. Like, because everybody was just like in shock or whatever. They were like, oh my God. I'm like, bro, like, get your hands up, son. Like, I don't like, God damn. See, I felt really bad. I'm not on no mercy shit. So I was like, God damn. Like, so hopefully he's all right.
Rich said, you gonna respect this dojo. Damn. Damn.
All right, real talk.
All right, well, keep us updated on the next time you beat up a teenager. All right.
Yeah, I was mildly annoyed at him too before all this shit. I was like, man.
So you were annoyed by this kid that you hit. You should you should leave this out because like this video might get deposed. What do you mean by that? What do you mean he annoyed you before you hit him?
Because like if you in a group setting, like they will make you do punishments as a group or something, right? So as they was like messing with each other, like the masters was out here like, all right, y'all go ahead and like I'll need to stop playing. I need 20 push-ups from each of y'all or whatever. And I was like talking to the girl behind me. I was like, they keep messing around, they're gonna get us some push-ups and all that, and I ain't gonna be happy. Like extra ones. No, sir. So after that, like he continues, to fuck off. And it was like, it was like you just gotta, if you pay attention, these things won't happen. So but hopefully I don't have any heat for it. Like apparently Jade Cargill had heat in WWE over the past, I don't know how long, but there was a report, I believe in the Wrestling Observer and confirmed by Fightful. There was either there was an issue with Jade Cargill and Shayna Baszler. So they did like the write-off of TV. Apparently there was, Cargill took issue with something that unfolded. Word around the locker room was that Jade had said something to the effect that Shayna Baszler need to learn to work. We're told it stemmed from a match in Scotland where Jade tapped out in what wasn't supposed to be the finish of a match. That video was going around. They said at least one talent in the locker room mentioned the promo where Jade returned and said the locker room was full of wolves in sheep's clothing, was taken personally by a number of talent as they kept the issue between her and Baszler quiet. Shayna allegedly wanted to fight her until they calmed the shit down. From there, we just saw numerous women of the locker room being very messy on Twitter that the Diva stands uncovered in minutes. And it started like putting together stuff from months ago or whatever of sub tweets and IG posts and all this stuff. And it was like, this was like a big question mark around the angle, potential injury, non-injury, vacations. And
yeah, like I believe that there was an injury, not sabbatical. She was gone dealing with an injury. People don't believe her. Fightful believes her. PW Insider does not. And now that's caused a back and forth where like it's Sapp versus Johnson kind of on whether or not that's happening, that happened or not. And then you have the situation of the jealousy that comes from this woman is ex-AEW. She comes in and takes a spot.
Didn't go to NXT. Probably should have went to NXT.
Bypass NXT altogether. The part where this is a black woman taking that spot as well. It's the people that have made comments about it, and it's like some people are like, I know you ain't talking to me. People you've injured on this fucking roster. Like it's a mess everywhere. It's I don't know how she survives it. And I don't know how much of it is actually her fault or how much she can actually make or fix or whatever else, but it seems like for it to get out after it's been months past it already happened, a lot of people are not happy with her. Whether she deserves it, whether she deserved it or brought it on herself or not, a lot of people are not happy with her.
And it is difficult going in the performance center because they're not necessarily there to train you. They are there to see what you can listen to. Are you coachable? So if you prove yourself to be somebody that's like, I don't feel like doing this, or I don't do this, or something like that, that could be trouble or whatever. As far as the whole thing with her and Shayna, I mean, I wouldn't want to fight no MMA fighter, but
she shouldn't either because she got put in a choke that was a work, and she got choked. She tapped out because it hurt too much. Shayna wasn't trying to turn her blue.
Yeah. So this look, it sure sounds like a toxic locker room, James.
What you say?
Sound like a toxic locker room.
Yeah. That
sound
locker room in particular.
Triple H needs balls.
Yeah. I mean, he had under wraps. He had under wraps until this week.
Nah.
But I mean, it definitely does feel like, she came back. Let's put the hammer on her. Let's drop the hammer on her. Now she came back.
She think it's all right. I was like, there's a lot of this stuff. Brewhaven is saying, I actually tweeted this. This stuff was breaking during the lead up to Revolution. And I was like, man, this is, don't they know that AEW is supposed to be getting the negative stories this week, going into the pay-per-view? Like, what, ever since Legento got promoted, slop getting shot, the shop is getting sloppy over there. And look, I've talked about how competitive the AEW women's locker room is. Do you think it's like any less competitive in WWE? Like,
I mean, it's worse because there's more people that have actually been on TV and been stars and have some type of sway in their minds, at least.
Yeah.
Right?
So like Jade coming over.
Think of the players, the actual players that are involved, right? Becky, not saying words of people that can sway some shit based off of being around, right? Bayley, Charlotte, Becky, Alexa Bliss, Bianca, Asuka can make some shit shake. Naomi can make some shit shake. Nia can make some shit shake. You know what I'm saying? And that's just off the top of my head. I'm sure the other people I'm forgetting. Natty can make some shit shake because she's a veteran, right? Like, there's a lot more people that can make your life living hell if you're brand new. So,
yeah.
Oh yeah, did I mention Alexa Bliss? She back now?
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, okay. So there you go. Like, yeah, man, it's and I'm not saying like these people have or what do you call the knives out for people necessarily, but what I am saying is like if you run afoul of them, you can easily make an enemy that you do not want to make an enemy of, especially if you're newer. And you know, as we mentioned when it comes to women's wrestling, like they have reason to be more territorial of their positioning than the men because there's less opportunity. Like if it don't work for you as a men's single act, you can go into the tag division. The women's tag division is not a serious thing. It is a stopgap measure to put people to throw belts on them to keep them, you know, giving them something to do. It's not like an actual division where there's like you can name 6 teams just off the top of your head. It's not a thing. So yeah, it's right. She got, you know, whatever the situation is, hope they can rectify it, all that kind of stuff, because Jade is always and always will have a dollar sign on her forehead. Whether or not
you talk about somebody that will end up getting 1 million chances or whatever, like people will say it goes bad for her in WWE.
She can go right at AEW.
I was gonna say, you think Tony Khan wouldn't call her back and be like, "All right, let's do it the right way." Essentially,
let's do it the right way.
I think he would. Yeah, look, I know the standards have changed, like in AEW, as far as like people getting pushed on these shows and stuff like that. But I think he would welcome something like that. She left amicably, yes, Brewhaven, and it was like just somebody that you put a lot of stuff into. They would figure it out with her, I think, again, to where like, all right, we don't have to push you the same way we did, where you were just this monster that ran over people, but now you can actually become a wrestler. I think that would be kind of the goal there. But I don't know, does Jay want to do that? Does Jay, you know,
who knows?
Yeah,
who knows? Look, who knows? All I know is like she screams. She needs to be on. The way she looks, screams. She needs to be on TV doing something. So she gonna get every opportunity in the world.
Yeah. So like,
look, life ain't fair. Life ain't fair. Just be aware that it ain't.
Right. Like, you know, people looked at her. She walked in there. She's a threat, like, to somebody. Like, so. Yeah. It's you know, we will continue to monitor the story.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's get to the real, man. AEW Revolution. Overall thoughts, James.
So you mentioned at the beginning before we got to the Naomi thing. My God, I'm doing the thing that white people do. The Jade thing that, like, yeah, you look at the show and it's a great show, and then the main event leaves sour taste in your mouth. Like, oh yeah, you know what I'm gonna call those WCW pay-per-views. This show is one of the greatest shows of all time, and it has a stinky, filthy, nasty, putrid main event. But yeah, I'm not going to. We'll shit on that main event when it's time to, when we get to it. But like, my general thoughts of the show is it's one of the best shows in the history of professional wrestling. There was a 3-match stretch that was just basically like, you could argue, you know, depending on how you feel about it, 4 3/4 stars to 5 stars, 3 straight matches in a row, and that is rare. That is very rare that you see a show do that. So yeah, and even before that, you had matches. You had a run of just matches that are, you know, of, you know, the opener, like the first 6 matches. Well, I can't take it back because there's a tag match in between. But like, you take out that tag match, and it's like, yo, this is like 6 matches that are like, you can give 4 stars, 2 through 7 matches. That is high quality. That is very high quality. You rarely see a show that deep. So yeah, I have to rewatch the opener because shout out to Triller. It kept crashing over and over during the Page and MJF match, but the right person won, so I'm okay with it. And I enjoyed what I saw when I didn't have to keep having to press refresh. So yeah, I thought this was a incredible show.
Yeah, same for me. I've been walking around telling people I think this is one of the greatest shows of all time, and like if the main event was worth a damn at all, it might be the greatest show of all time. Going in on paper, it looked like it. I feel like we knew exactly where the peaks and the valleys were for this show, and it played out just almost as perfect as I think a lot of fans, really thought it would play out. And kind of a surprise twist in the main event to where I'm going to talk about that in a little bit, but like, I don't know. I think there's a little something more than what meets the eye going on there. But let's get to the opener, man. Adam Page versus MJF. MJF's trolling, coming out with the babyface Hangman music, and then hits his own MJF music. Crowd popped. I popped. I was happy to hear it. And then Page walked out to his real music, the heel music, whatever. But these two, I just love this match, man. Like, this was like MJF, where it's like, oh, like if you just did this, it was like, we got good MJF tonight. And they went just under 19 minutes. So many creative counters and reversals, like that counter sequence spot with the tombstone on the chair outside the ring. I was just living for that. I thought this match ruled. Like, this is another great opener for Hangman Page to add to his his ledger, I'll say. Right winner, as you mentioned, and absolutely clean, which I was shocked. I thought this was a perfect spot for somebody to debut with MJF or something, but they said fuck it, we going clean, and that was a big theme of this show, baby faces.
Yeah. I think that tombstone spot was the first third of the match, right? Yeah, the match was just great from what I saw. I just got to rewatch it again, but I definitely thought this was a high level match from what I saw. I just didn't see how it all coalesced together because I ended up having to refresh all the fucking time. I'm thinking of sending that refund request, but we'll see. But I did enjoy the match. I thought it was great for what I saw. How great, can't tell you yet.
Hangman with the small haircut. It looks like a little bit kind of.
Yeah, cut his hair shorter. I didn't know if the hardest of the fan base would appreciate it. I'm unsure. I haven't heard a word back yet. I've been kind of busy, but it was just a different look or whatever else. It's shorter, so it looks kind of like an 80s perm, an 80s white person perm. I don't know if they like that or not. I'll check to see if
I'll take their word for it
to see if they like it or not. They might be like, hey, you gotta cut it shorter. You gotta cut it shorter because this where it's at right now is not good. It's got to either be longer or shorter. It can't be where it's at. We'll see.
Are you in that in between range? Like,
yeah.
I think that people will be very happy. This is Hangman Page. I don't think has got a singles victory on pay-per-view where he pinned somebody 1, 2, 3 since I think I saw this. Actually, listen to the Trish and Sarah podcast. They're going to unveil that stat. This is network synergy here. It's been a long fucking time. Let's just say that.
Well, I mean, it's I understand. Like he won the fucking lights out match. Like I get it, but
he did.
Like he didn't pin somebody. Like what if he had submitted a bunch of people? Like it's he was a decisive winner of big matches. Like I get it. I get what you're trying to do. But come on. Now, do you think this is the end, or do you think this is the beginning?
It feels definitive. Like if it was me, I'd split these boys apart, send them elsewhere. But MJF can. I think maybe MJF's got to lure him back out.
Right. It's like, okay, so this is like the first real job MJF's ever done. So that's why I'm like, what would be the benefit for him to do this unless he's going to get it back at some point, which means that this has to continue. You know?
Yeah. I hadn't thought about that.
Yeah. All right. Well, either way, I mean, I would like to see more. I think they could. I think they fell into something. Or not fell into something. Like, I feel like they had this, and this could continue for more than just one pay-per-view cycle.
Absolutely. AEW TBS title match: Mercedes Moné against Momo Watanabe. I think Momo did much better with the crowd than I anticipated. I don't think they were going crazy or anything, but they were engaged. She, I think, worked the crowd well, and I like this match a great deal. Momo kicked the shit out of her, and Mercedes,
relatively speaking,
like, yeah. Like, I don't think she went nut. Like, I was waiting for her to sit her in the middle of the ring and then pull up on her with that Shibata to the back style kick. Yeah. She didn't do that. But
and she also laid off on the she didn't like light her up with mid kicks. Like, the trio woe kicks are like, they sound nice, but like, you look at her body language, she's not turning over and killing her like she would kill like Mayu or somebody. Like, right. she was reserved. Now the funny part was, like, you saw Sasha after like 2 or 3 of them start covering up, and I started seeing the timeline kind of like, what is this? And I was like, yeah, this is just like, this is like third match Joshi wrestling. Like, this is what this is. This is, you get your ass kicked. And she ain't really trying to kick her ass like that. I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed when Mercedes, tries these sorts of things or whatever else. Like, these are like her matches. She never has perfect matches, but she has matches that, like, as time goes on, you can get over the clumsiness and enjoy, clumsiness, awkwardness, like the non-perfectness, if you will. And like, once she always gets to a certain point where, like, the match like hits a level and it just stays there. And that's always something I appreciate. Like, it reminds me kind of like a Jericho's in a way, where it's like Jericho's not necessarily has perfect matches either. It's like they just know where they're going. They just know how to get to where they need to go, and then when they get there, they have the crowd hooked. And that's how big Mercedes matches go. So yeah, there's another one, and it's just like, for those that are unfamiliar, Momo Watanabe turns 25 on the 22nd this month. She's been this good since she was 18. And I ain't the only one that's going to say it on the show. Rich saw her in person with Jeremy Donner from Keepin It Strong Style when she was 19, and they liked the match that I saw, title match that more than I did that we were watching in New York City. So yeah, just Stardom could have used her, but there were a lot of stars or whatever else. She's one of the casualties of the influx of talent from the Jersey scene coming into Stardom. She was a future ace candidate at one point, and then it didn't go her way. But like, she was always this talented. Always.
I'd imagine she made a couple fans backstage. Also, it never hurts having a Mercedes connection if you ever, want to, take that trip, take that ride or whatever. But, I thought it was very ambitious for Mercedes to say, yeah, let's go out there with Momo. Like, because it's like, you look at the Stardom roster, right? And it's like, of course, Momo's awesome, but like, who do you think, if it was up to like, the traditional tastemakers in America, they're not picking Momo Watanabe typically to come from Stardom. Like, normally it was like Mina, like, we got that like immediately, super charismatic stuff like that. And Momo's got her own charisma, but it's like, it doesn't pull you in like that. But I think she did a good job. Like,
she's a great dick champion that can, like, and that's another thing about like her match with Serena on Saturday, was like, I don't know who's making the calls on these matches or whatever else, but like, Momo's better leading a match when she's basically the one person in control of a match and being a bullying champion or a heel. That's why she ended up moving over to heel and then working out, even though I thought whatever. But like, her basically having to work from underneath to get the crowd into whatever else, she can do it, but that's not her strongest suit. So I didn't really necessarily get like Serena just basically eating her up with submission holds or for the first third of that match. And then like winning kind of not abruptly, but like one of those, like, didn't finish her, just hit her with a kick and then hit her with the and then quickly got her with her finish. So yeah, like, this match was like, okay, these are clearly two people that have worked together before. It worked out. Like, I think the Meteora / Samato count got up to 6 or 7. Which, you know, I saw it coming. I mean, anyone that knows those two know that that's coming. And like, yeah, man, it was a really good match. And like, you know, for people that were looking for the Harley Cameron, the Chris Statlander, the Willow, I get where you're coming from. However, sometimes it's cool to see an all-star match that bangs. And like, trust me, there's like over a dozen of them that she could do if she would like. Can you imagine how good a match for her and Natsupoi or Starlight Kid would be? Like,
yeah.
So,
Starlight Kid's like definitely like a Mercedes opponent. Absolutely.
Yeah. Like, obviously, I don't think they do it now because, you know, she's white belt champion. You know, no point in doing that. But I'm saying, like, there's just a slew of people she could have high level matches with. Like, I mean, it'd be funny to see how Kamatani would respond, how the crowd would respond to Kamatani right now. In this
Bro, they would be like, huh?
Until she, like, you know, until she started doing her half.
I
agree.
Stuff.
It'd be interesting. It'd just be interesting.
Leave that criminal Natsupoi home. Yeah, I agree. You know, don't walk into this country without checking in. You know, with Big Rich. You know, but yeah. Up next, we had a number one contender match for the AEW World Title. Swerve Strickland defeats Ricochet, and man, brother. First, before we get to the match, I don't know what happened with the drummer. I didn't ask yet, but I look forward to getting the story. I don't know if Buddy's earpiece fell out or something like that. I don't know what happened.
I mean, well,
kind of hard to play over a song.
First things first. Me and Rich have talked about this for years. Going to live rap concerts. When you are somebody like Jeezy, for example, I think Jeezy is the one we first noticed this. Jeezy will bring a live band to play, you know, accompany his music, and it's like, it don't work because you have digital drums over most of your songs, and you're playing live analog real drums, and it's a clash. It just does not feel right. So Swerve's song is digital drums, and they went with a real drummer. It didn't sound right, and then at points it felt like he was offbeat, and I'm assuming it's because of the earpiece situation. You know, so whatever. But
it's like I feel the idea. I was like, either you got to go all instruments or like not like mix them. You know what I'm saying?
This is a clash. It's a clash. It just don't sound right. But whatever.
Turns out it didn't matter because apparently Swerve was the most over man in the building, according to people on the ground there, and what it sounded like coming through.
Yeah. Do we need to talk about the internet rumors?
Which ones?
So
I know which ones you're talking about.
Yeah, so I saw a tweet about like Mercedes in the second match, Swerve's in the third match. They've taken pictures together. People are speculating that something's going on with those two. Like, and also they had like similar color schemes for like the hair, like the maroon and then like the black and white. And I was just like, I see the rumors. I'm just laughing at it because it's like, man, what do y'all want? What do y'all want?
Look. I'm not gonna ruin they fun. Look, they want to have fun. Let them have fun with this.
Because
I'm not gonna ruin anybody's,
some
fantasy booking.
Yeah, it's people love to shit people, don't they? They love to shit people.
Hey, let them have fun. Maybe they can get some likes off it, some Elon coins. But yeah, man, Swerve versus Ricochet. So I got word this feud was going down late last year. I happened to be privy of the setup of how this was all going to go, and this thing played out just marvelously. Just like when you think about the job that had to get done, and I don't mean getting pinned. It's like Ricochet had to go through the C2, basically break into this new character essentially while building the feud up with Swerve in a distance, one eye on him, still working, new style and everything, after the disappointment of his initial babyface run, which we talked about with Sue Williams on the show, where it was like, I don't know. He can't be that, whatever, it was here. So they do the whole thing with the toilet paper and all that, the Jimmy Rave stuff, and it gets over big at World's End. And this thing, kind of escalates to the point where Ricochet is pulling out the scissors, stabbing Swerve, busting him open. He has the Tokyo Dome main event in the meantime that same week. So Ricochet is kind of like building momentum and credibility back up. From there, Swerve is chasing him down each week with, promos and basically saying, eventually we're going to get to it, and all builds up to the Atlanta match or whatever. And, by the time the Atlanta match comes, there's been awesome promo work from both of them. They have a, match in the, pack building that night, which was just, I was there in person. It was awesome. The crowd was, out of this world then. Ricochet got the win through one of the most creative heel finishes I think I've ever seen. I thought there was going to be kind of a play on that, but there wasn't.
There was.
I should probably a little bit.
Not the same, not the exact same way, but it sheds light on what, if you want to, it sheds light on what happened at the end of the first match. Yeah. Like Ricochet actually really did go for the low blow.
Yeah. So Ricochet wins, takes the robe, and the robe becomes the part of the second half of, the feud. From there, Ricochet does even better mic work. Prince Nana steps into the picture and really shines himself. We talked about how he should have kind of been rewarded, as a non-wrestler or whatever. And, if this ain't what you want, I don't know. And then, they get to LA, and this thing's been going on for, 4 or 5 months at this point, second match. And then they throw the number one contendership on it, in the previous week or so. And then suddenly, it's not just for Prince Nana's jacket. It's like, all right, this got real stakes here. And I think these guys
who will save the company.
Yeah. So from there, I thought this was just a big time match on a big time show that tied together wonderful months of storytelling, and then in the match itself, just the use of the celebrities, Leslie Jones ringside going crazy. I thought it was great. I thought some of the spots that that Death Valley Driver dived through the ropes.
You mean the Death Valley Driver?
Yeah, I was like, Ricochet had to make a split decision with it. And, he put him down or whatever, but
the split decision was drop him on his fucking head. If he dies, he dies.
Yeah. So they teased the tension with Prince Nana walking out or whatever. I think people bid on that hook, line, and sinker because I think Swerve and Nana is an all-time wrestler manager pairing at this point. I would never really want to see them break up.
They're definitely beloved.
I would never want to see them, split or anything, but people started, running with that themselves or whatever. So I was like, if that helps them get into the match more, whatever.
That's the thing when you have these relationships and you can tease the breakup. And when people get back together, after there is some troubled water and they're able to get over, that makes you appreciate the relationship even more. Think of how many times they've teased the Elite breaking up before they actually really did. That's what made it when they finally did break up. The people heartbreaking. Going through that kind of stuff. That's I can think of a few. That's the reason why I appreciate Stardom so much. The factions when they go through stuff and it's they're on the edge and then they're able to before they eventually do break up, because that's the point of it is you get so many matches and you eventually have to split, but. You appreciate the part where it's they almost frayed and they were able to actually still hold on to the rope and continue pressing forward. This is one of those moments with them where it's whatever it does, it's going to be, because it's wrestling, right? But whenever it does happen, it's going to be gutting because they're going to point back to this is another time where it could have happened.
Yeah, I thought this was a great mix of traditional guys just working an excellent match and then combining it with the entertainment stuff, and then the use of the manager, just a great mix of everything there. And we talked about it maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago with Swerve got the win here over Ricochet. Great match, another one for him, and it's all right, man, what are we holding back on at this point, man? Some more love needs to be shown, I feel and I feel the fans are choosing right now. I feel there's a lot of people that are over in this company, but you're not gonna get through too many before you get to Swerve Strickland. So it's this is one of the best guys in the world, like if not the best, on a given day. So it's like just authored another great feud here, great matches, and it's just like, yeah, man, like I'm very excited to see him, get to the main event again at Dynasty. We'll talk about his opponent later. But Ricochet, where does he go from here? I know who I want to see him against.
I mean, there's a bunch of people he could wrestle. I think for me, I think he should go. I mean, he talked so much about how much he won the championship gold, and obviously he failed here. But like, I mean, he should zero in. They should fit him for like one of the other titles. Like, obviously you have Omega with the International now. Okada,
that's my pick right there.
Sorry,
that was my pick right there. And Omega Ricochet.
I mean, I think they're kind of going to do a double title, their international or continental thing for All In between Omega and Okada. So I think that's kind of earmarked. But like, there's still people that like could use, like they could do Daniel Garcia. You know what I'm saying? Like there's stuff there's titles that go after, right? Like, and hell, you could go back to Okada and be like, hey, he won the C2. You had a match. He won. And he can get his win back and get the kind of like, it's not locked in stone. It has to be a title for title match at All In between Omega and Okada. I'm just saying, like, it just seems like that's the direction they're headed. But I'm saying, like, but along this way, that should be a goal for him, is like, one of these secondary titles for now, or he could be after whoever. Like, but he should be on deck for one of these titles. He should be a champion in this company sooner rather than later, while he has someone riding behind him, and you could find him another, somebody else he connect to for a storyline. I think, who would you like to see him wrestle next? Like, have a program with next, is actually a better way to put it. Ricochet.
I know the immediate thing I want to see was him and Kenny Omega, but I would settle for Daniel Garcia. It would get him, booked.
That does, yes. The problem is, you immediately have to take the belt off of him, and it's like, they haven't done right by Daniel Garcia. So that kind of stinks.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I wouldn't mind them doing that. Because you can just do, FTR and Garcia as like a trios or whatever else. Then again, Daniel Garcia will probably be homeless again because they'll probably do rated FTR. So, who knows?
Or they could do, once Bandito, wins the last match against Jericho, he can defend the ROH belt against Ricochet. Ricochet and Bandito. Yeah. 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 I mean, there's options. There's plenty of options. But yeah, like, I just think, that's a good point. Ricochet wins TNT title and then he wrestles Hologram. That'd be fun. Yeah.
That'd be fun.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, King of the North, that's a fun one.
But yeah, loved this match. I thought it was sensational.
I think that they're not necessarily done if they don't need to be. Like they can always go back to Ricochet and Swerve at some point in a year or whatever else, or 9 months, and they can heat it right back up. Like that's how well how successful this was.
Like this feud had to prove a lot of things to a lot of people because, like, as successful as both of these guys are, I think they're still fighting perceptions in and out of the company. And, I think, you can count this as a W for them. So,
total success. This is one of the better programs in history of the company.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Continental title match, Kazuchika Okada versus Brody King. Brody King came out wearing the pants of the fabric that he normally comes out with or whatever. And bro, I ain't never seen nobody whoop Okada like this. Like, just picking him up, slamming him, picking him up, slamming him, chopping him, fucking him up left and right. This was not Kazuchika Okada versus Bad Luck Fale. Absolutely not. Like, this was just some other shit here.
Maybe Suzuki? Maybe
he wasn't. He not picking Okada up like
no,
this,
right. But I mean, like, just as far as like he's locked in submission, he's selling his ass off. But yeah, like as far as like the physical punishment, like he was marked up in red all across his chest and his biceps the whole match.
Someone said not even Tenryu. You stop this now. You stop this. So Okada was out here like giving himself power bombs and shit because Tenryu was so old.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so I don't think this was the greatest match or anything, but it was like Okada was like Brody King was like, hey man, ain't none of this bullshit. We gonna come in here and hit, god damn it. So he beat the shit out of Okada. Like that, I think that was a more striking thing than the win, the loss, anything. It was just like, this is a unique match.
Yeah, he gave him a lot, and like, I mean, obviously the finish is like they can do another match. But it was one of those things where it's like, yeah, man.
People are saying
like,
Okada got fucked up in the Shibata match. Yes, he did, but Kazuchika or Katsuyori Shibata was not picking him up over his head and throwing him like up and down like the way Brody King was.
Yeah, I mean, look, and I don't think Rich means just like for moments. He means for the whole match. Like Brody King took like 85% of this match. Like obviously Ibushi fucked up Okada in the that first Tokyo Dome match in 2020. That 1-4 match. Like. Yep. When like Okada, Murder Ibushi came out there and punched him in the face and then stomped shot. I'm like, yeah, there've been moments we've seen Okada get his ass handed to him in moments, not for like just dominating for the whole stretches of matches, like or just basically like taking it to him like in that kind of way. Like, yeah, this was different, and I mean, not even like the G1 match with Jonah Rock was like that. Whereas, like, it was more like, yeah, he's a it was more of a monster match. This wasn't a monster match necessarily. Obviously, the size discrepancy there, but it was like, nah, this dude's being, you know, he's basically getting his ass kicked by Wahoo McDaniel. That's basically what it felt like. He's just getting shot to death. So, yeah, but I enjoyed the match. I would love to see another one. I would love to see the way, I think the crowd's really behind Brody King. Like, I really think he could be a champion there. I really think, like, they... You know, there's a new lease on life
team up
now
with
that they've gotten
Swerve
away
this past
from,
week too.
You know, the Malachi Black stuff. Like, all three of them, honestly.
He did that team up with Swerve on Dynamite. People seem to really like that team. They got history together as well. You know,
I'm assuming that's from Defy?
Yeah.
Okay.
I feel like they should be selling Brody King ski masks. They should be selling them red joints or whatever.
Now, like, it's funny. It's funny because Brody King is selling ski masks, but
you let Will Hobbs do the same thing. Like,
yeah. Like, I don't think Black Wrestling get away with selling ski masks for merch. I don't think that would be as popular. It's one of those things I find interesting. No offense to Brody King. It's just one of them things. It's interesting. That's all.
So you keep trying to make ski mask merch a thing? Yes, because it'll sell.
Yes.
It will absolutely sell.
It would.
You know? Oh, man.
Because the thing about a ski mask is, it ain't got to be a ski mask. You can roll up, it can be a beanie.
Right.
That's how ski masks work. Because like, it's a beanie, and then you go around the corner and say, oh, no, that's a ski mask. Here's my wallet.
So up next, we had the AEW World Tag Team title match. Now, I just didn't get this match, James. It was the Hurt Syndicate versus the Outrunners. The Hurt Syndicate came out and were over. The Outrunners, you know, got a nice, modest reception, I'd say. And then they went about 8 minutes, and I was like, this probably should have went 5. And
5?
It 3. Just like...
I'm sorry. It was, you know, I know you're a Luca fan now, so over in Europe they do 3.
You know, but I just didn't understand this. Like, I was looking for the Outrunners to get like one near fall. I was like, can you give us a near fall at least? That was like,
absolutely.
Oh,
not.
There's some, but like it like never really came to me or whatever. And I was like, I thought this just went on way too long here.
So the real match should have been Hurt Syndicate versus Brian Cage and Lance Archer. Once Brian Cage, Lance Archer in that number 1 contendership match versus Outrunners beat the shit out of them, and then ultimately at the end they lost because Hurt Syndicate's music gets played on behalf of Hurt Syndicate. Like I said on the preview, it's like, bro, they're gonna have another match where they get their ass kicked. No one's gonna want to watch this. That's exactly what happened. They had another match where they had their ass kicked, and like people were looking around like, why did this even happen? Exactly. This is a filler match.
Like
this was a squash match. This was a squash match. This would have been more effective in 2 minutes but it got stretched out to 8 for some reason.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that were saying we don't ever want to hear anything about the Outrunners again. It's like, yo, they are selling merch. They're, over to a degree, but it's like, yo, these tag team spots on these pay-per-views or these spots alone on these pay-per-views are prime real estate. And
if you want to put them in party matches where like all the, like that 12-man a few weeks ago,
put them in an 8-man or a 10-man.
If you want to put them in a party match, fine. If you want to put them in the trios, fine. If you want to put them in a singles match on TV on Saturdays, fine. Don't put them on pay-per-view. I'm sorry, I'll take that back. If you want to put them on the 0 hour, fine. Do not put them on the 8 to 12 that I paid money for. Don't do that.
Yeah.
Orange Cassidy was on the 0 hour. They're not too good to be on. They're not too good not to be on to not be on the 0 hour. Orange Cassidy should have been on here. What are we doing?
So moving forward, man. Then we got
you know what else they could have put on this show instead of that too?
What?
They could have put another Statlander versus Megasis match on here.
They could have.
Nah, man. Look, because they got 8 minutes. Do you know what Chris Statlander and Megan Bain would have did in 8 minutes? My God.
Lots of throwing each other around,
That would look. Y'all was out here throwing out them pictures of people throwing up 5 hands. You get them 8 minutes on pay-per-view, you would have got 5. You would have got 5 from me, just like this. Absolutely. All you be like, just copy and paste what you did on Dynamite or whatever week that show was, or whatever else, and just
do it again.
Pay-per-view format. Cooking with gas.
So up next, we had the AEW Women's World Championship match. Toni Storm versus Mariah May, just under 13 minutes. One of the best matches in promotion history, I would say. They beat the holy fuck out of each other, bled for it, basically like laid it all on the line. This got the hard promotion this past weekend for the show. Or asking for this to main event the show. Either way, if they would have done it, fine. If not, whatever. We got what we got. But Toni Storm, all-time blade job in this one. Just Muda scale all the way out. Mariah May did not catch up to her fully, but she got it rolling eventually. I love...
Toni Storm's blade job was so deep. It's so was basically a gusher so badly that like when Mariah did hurt, I was like, oh, that little trickle of blood. And then it kept going like, oh, actually that was a good one. It's just compared to Toni Storm. Toni Storm right here finna bleed out in front of our eyes in this match. Yeah, man.
Bro, they saw it was fucking on site. Ran her down in the fucking aisleway. They were running it. Luther got involved. Yes, in LA. Man, I wanted some kind of LA representation. I wanted somebody to come out to Live and Die in LA or have a Coogee sweater on or something because it was March 9th. No one did it. No, and the only person that mentioned something about Biggie was Nigel McGuinness. I was like, that's strange, but whatever. But yeah, I really enjoyed this match. I thought this was so my immediate reaction was just seeing how much everyone loved it. And I was like, I don't know if I think it was better than Willow versus Statlander, that death match they had or whatever. But it's like, it's out of those two for sure. Like, and a lot of people are going to, call this, like, they're going to say this is like one of the greatest feuds, I think, in AEW history. Definitely one of the best blow-off matches, too. And, like, their story took a lot of twists and turns. And I think it ultimately boiled down to them having great instincts. And they just, like, I think they blew their other two matches so far out of the water. And I like those matches or whatever. But this was just an entirely different level.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm with you on that. Now, I think I'm with you. I think the Statlander and Willow match is better because that match is actually like, I think the wrestling in that is better. But this, that doesn't really necessarily even much matter. Like what they did in 13 minutes with what they had, when you know you have the crowd, right? Like I feel like this was like the best representation of if you're over, if a feud is over, if the characters are over, you can get away with, I hate saying getting away, because it's not what, I'm not saying they did, I'm not saying they got away with this. You can get away with a lot of shit that otherwise, if you're not cooking or you're not connected with the crowd, it will die a death. I'm not saying this match did that at all. What I'm saying is like, they knew how well they had that crowd in their back pocket. And they did no more than what they needed to do. And also what they did with the tape fist and the fake glass, I thought that was amazing. I never seen that before. Once they taped in the fist, I was like, oh, my light bulb went on. Oh, that's what we're going to do. But I never seen it in a wrestling match. I was like, oh, that's neat.
I think I heard people saying that was like some Jun Kasai stuff, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay, so I don't watch death matches enough to know that or whatever else. I don't even know if they knew that, but like I've seen people do the take fist or whatever else to brawl in the street kind of shit, some old timey shit. Like that's some old timey shit that goes with like the Tony Storm character, right?
Yeah.
Like so, like I was like, oh, okay, that's fitting. Like maybe Jun Kasai did do that. It wouldn't surprise me. Like look at him, right?
Right.
But I just thought, and obviously, like Jun Kasai was, he was using.
So Brewhaven saying Orange Cassidy did the glass fist at All In 2023 in the
forgot.
Stadium Stampede. But like, hey, if you got the,
I totally forgot.
Ain't nobody did it in a while. Look, ain't nobody did it in a while. So it's like it was a perfect spot or whatever to like show that Mariah May ultimately was not about that life. Like as much as as close as it felt like she was, like. I think Toni Storm earned a lot of like, because I know a lot of Toni Storm's career for me, I always saw people talk her up as a super wrestler, and I just like never really.
She's just a very good wrestler. Or maybe she's just a good wrestler that like if you put her in with someone better than her, she can have higher level matches than that. Like, but the thing that she was quote unquote missing outside of like she had the aesthetic stuff down always, right? She always looked cool. But it was the promo stuff and like the personality and like the timeless Toni Storm thing like took it over the top to where it's like, look at her, just looking at how she looks. That for a lot of people that's enough. She's a competent enough wrestler. She's more than a competent enough wrestler. That should be enough for some people. Then once you get the character the people connect with, then it's like, boom. And then like it took a while to modulate around, the timeless character into making the matches work. And then like she eventually figured that out. And now like this is her best match. It is like, I don't know where she goes from here, but like at one point in time, Britt Baker was the biggest like self-made star and woman star in AEW. I think it's Toni now.
I would agree. She's got the long title runs. I think she has better high quality matches. The promos, I would say, are either a wash or, slightly advantage Toni at this point. It's like, as far as like building yourself up completely new, because Mercedes Moné, you just import her and she's
right.
It's
That's why I said it the way I said it to qualify to loop her out for people, Yeah.
Yeah, so like what Toni Storm has done, I think is really impressive because it was a risk. It was totally left field from what anyone else in pro wrestling was doing, drawing inspiration from places that are not taking, pro wrestling is not taking from, and she landed a movie role out of it, and she like got to be the champion for a very long time, like, and she's like been running it up, quite frankly, and then
she Rich. Swerve called herself Forever Champion?
Yeah.
She's kind of Forever Champion at this point.
Like, when is her deal up? Like, because it is time to...
Whenever her deal is up, she will be a millionaire.
Yeah.
A multimillionaire. Let me rephrase it. A multimillionaire. I don't know if she is already, but she absolutely will be after this. Because, brother, like
got to pay. Got to pay.
Could you imagine the kind of like this is what Vince is going? Could you? Oh hell, take that back. Can you imagine the amount of the what Triple H would do, like getting Toni Storm back? He's the one that loved her the most.
I think he liked Rhea more, but
no. I'm not playing the games of her whatever Triple H's favorite children are. But I'm saying is like, I guarantee you, Triple H was like, you're doing what with Tony? I bet when whoever he's talking to, the Vince's frustration with Triple H fucking up, or like would Vince will fuck up his NXT people, his favorites or whatever else. I guarantee he was like, I can't believe you don't get this Toni Storm thing. You're putting fucking what do you call it? You're putting whipped cream on her face to embarrass her with Charlotte. What the fuck are you doing? Like, so yeah, man, like.
Look,
that would be a big.
I don't think Tony's about to.
I don't think she's going back either. My point is, like, if she had opportunity to test free agency, she definitely getting a call.
Oh, she's definitely getting,
and she would definitely get competitive offers. What I'm saying, like, you're not finna hear no resign, and then all of a sudden the leak out comes out when she resigns it, like, from WWE, like, this is way over market price. That would not happen with Toni Storm. No way it happened with Swerve. That's where I'm getting at.
I don't think Tony Khan is going to let himself be outbid. There's no way. Like, he's way too hands-on with this. So, up next. So everyone's like, what's going to follow this? Like, goddamn, they went crazy. They bled everywhere. So what? You send out a guy that has experience working Tokyo Dome main events, and then Konosuke Takeshita's on the other side. So
I see what you did there, Brewhaven.
So they come out, and I'm like, why does it look like he's wearing boxing gear? And then turns out it's some cartoon lore or something like that. I'm like, all right, whatever.
Him and Takeshi have matching, have coordinated outfits. Winking at the audience. So I was like,
this is a shoot.
Yeah. Yeah, it was funny to me because it's like, we talked about this before, was like Charlotte and Becky Lynch did that at one time. I think it was 2 years ago at Grand Slam with Kingston and Claudio. It's like these coordinated outfits or whatever else. Is like no one ever has really necessarily a problem with that, right? But it's like, but when you have coordinated matches or whatever else, that's the issue. It's like, this is just as bad. Why don't y'all ever shit on this stuff?
I kind of like the coordinated outfit because it should be like a contrast of colors and stuff like that.
What I'm saying is the people that talk about these matches are coordinated, like, what's more coordinated than, hey, I'm going to go fight, me and you are going to have a fake fight in front of people, and we're going to coordinate our outfits so that we match a particular motif. You know what I'm saying? Like, Malachi Black wearing all black and Cody Rhodes wearing all white. Like, you guys are clearly, you know what I'm saying? Like,
y'all are cooperating.
Yes, this is cooperation. I thought, if no one talks about the aesthetic cooperation, people only talk about the match mechanics of cooperation. He's like, oh, you did a Dragonrana, that's fake. It's like, these motherfuckers are wearing matching clothes. That's worse. You don't care because you just don't worry, you're only worried about this certain particular thing. It's like, nah, man, all this stuff where you people collaborate and it comes together in that kind of way, you guys should hate that. Y'all don't hate that. I don't hate it because I don't care. But you claim to care.
King of the Door saying, you know who doesn't coordinate outfits? New Japan Young Lions, real workers.
Wow.
So they send Kenny Omega and Konosuke Takeshita out there, right? And is it a fireworks show? No, it doesn't begin that way. But they work this kind of slower match that peaks towards the end, and by the time you get to the end, it's like, go ahead, James.
Rich. Oh no, go ahead. Go finish your point. Sorry.
Oh, I was gonna say, by the time you get to the end, it's like, did I just see like this epic fucking match like in front of me, like that just like played out like over kind of like it was like a slow motion masterpiece almost. It was like Kenny selling much more than he, much more than I like him to, at least. But just like they even got over Kenny Omega putting the table down and getting booed because fans are it didn't matter or whatever, because it was like,
this will hurt me.
Use
the table.
Yeah. So like the whole thing, like this felt like a Tokyo Dome main event, like kind of like I was like, oh my God. Like I was just like so happy to see, obviously my favorite wrestler of all time back in full force. And this was sensational, man. One of the best matches of the year.
So this was an Okada title match. Like,
I was thinking Tanahashi, but like, go ahead.
No, like what you explained is like there was something that came on before it where a bomb went off, and like a crowd is clearly tired, whatever else, emotionally exhausted, they expended energy going through the run of emotions, watching what they just witnessed, and then something has to follow it. The effective route is you go low and slow, and then you build over 20 minutes and then you give them the flurrying finish at the end. Is like, my experience watching pro wrestling of people successfully doing that very well, or there's more I've ever seen be the most successful at it, is Okada. And that's when people talk about like that don't like Okada matches, like they talk about his low and slow. It's like there's a reason for that. Like he's building his own intermission in his own match because he realizes the emotions that the crowd went through. He's actually he's better at the psychology thing than you're giving him credit for, even though people already do give him credit. It's like, that's the part of it. Like, there is no, bathroom break match in it. It's like, if you want to, do your thing for the first 5 minutes, when you come back, we're going to be here. So that's a bit of the approach a similar approach that those two took. And like, it was a smart move. And, I felt like it was a very good marriage of working over the injury or selling the injury and then giving people what they want of the flurries of athleticism, and like they were just incredible. I thought this match was better than the match before it, and that's high praise because that match was fucking awesome.
Yeah. This was like it's really hard to describe it because it was like, all right, man, like the crowd, like obviously I think both of these guys are over or whatever, and then they just come alive throughout the match. So many people, I think, like I expected, like I didn't know people liked the match as much as I did, so I got on Twitter, everyone was like just going crazy for it, and I was like, oh, never mind. I don't have to quote unquote defend anything. There was
this man was ready. This man was ready though.
Yeah, I was like, you know me, I'm shot. I'm ready for smoke at all times. I already had one tweet that I had to revisit. I was like, all right, we'll chat back March 7th. And I did. So, like Kenny wins the international title. First time he's had a singles title on him since 2021. If I'm not mistaken. Been a long time.
Wait, wasn't he? Did he lose the Mega Championship first?
Vacated that.
Oh, okay. Forgot.
Yeah. And then, Takeshita drops the belt there, and obviously he had an awesome run, and that kind of frees him up, and, maybe that boy's the IWGP champion. Who knows? But, yeah, I love this. I thought this was fucking great. Like, I thought this was a psychological masterpiece.
Yeah, match is great. And like, man, like, I don't know how, I don't know, forget the how, I don't know when, but bro, please, Kenny Omega, for the love of God, I need you to V-trigger Don Callis. I need it to happen. Don't let Don Callis get out of here 2 years from now and it never happens. I need that V-trigger. I need that V-trigger. So yeah, man.
He pulls the same finish that he beat Pac with on TV in that Thanksgiving match in 2019 with that roll through.
Yeah.
So that kind of, doesn't do the one wing angel to Kesha for whatever reason, but nice change of pace.
Give I don't have to hit him with a one wing angel.
All right, look at him. But yeah, letting off the V triggers, man, it was awesome, man. Slightly different, than I expected, but still great. So, line him up. Apparently, he's got a promo this week, so we'll see, what's next for him. But all roads kind of point to All In. There should be a couple entertaining matches in the meantime. So, do the Mercedes Moné route. Who would you like to wrestle Kenny Omega this month? So, after that, okay.
In my mind, I was thinking of like who will be the nastiest person you could bring in, and the answer is of course Ibushi.
I mean, I don't.
Has he healed yet from that broken ankle?
Man.
I know he's wrestled since, but like I haven't kept tabs on how he's looked.
Not trying to go down that road. Up next, then we got a steel cage match between Will Ospreay and Kyle Fletcher.
All right, before we get to that, I think it was like the closing stretch of this match with Omega and Takeshita when I was like, yo, Moxley and Cope are fucked. and then we get to this match, which was the best match of the night. All right, let's go.
These niggas begin standing on each side of the cage, aura for aura, as the music is going, as Elevated is playing, and I'm like, what are we about to see? I'm like I already know, like, what's it like? My original thought was them to jump down in the pit and then just start punching each other in the face. They didn't do that. They got in slowly, but what they did was like, I saw some people get upset about this having like plunder in it or whatever. I'm like, bro, they worked like 80% of this match with just the cage there. Right. I personally thought this was Will Ospreay versus Kyle Fletcher versus the cage. Like this was like everything I think people want when they talk about cage matches. Sometimes when they feel like there's too many weapons in them, there's too much, other stuff, before the ending and shit. But like, bro, just when Ospreay does the fucking jump up, kind of like to get to the Os Cutter or whatever, and he hits his foot on the cage and it sells it. I was like, bro, he threw this in for those Ko-Fi Twitter motherfuckers. I know he did, and I laughed or whatever. But bro, this was just one of the most epic matches I think I've ever seen in my life. Just out of this world. Like, we already know who Will is. We know what this guy's driven by. We've seen his greatness on multiple continents. We've looked at this guy from, I think I started watching Will in like 2015, if I'm not mistaken, or whatever. So I've been watching this guy 10 years at this point. Jesus. But like Kyle Fletcher, like how do you like see Kyle Fletcher in this match and be like, yo, this guy is going to make all the money. He's going to be a multi-time world champion. There's nobody in the world under 30 years old better than him. Like, maybe Takeshita, that's it.
You know what I'm saying? Isn't
like,
Takeshita under 30?
Takesha's like 29, so my bad. Sorry. Okay. But anybody else, like, bro, like his ceiling is so high. He's a fucking freak. Like, he can talk, he can work, and he's about that life. This nigga said, yes, nigga, Spanish fly me off the top of this cage.
Don't forget that part.
Bro,
Styles clash me
out of face, this fucking world.
Knees, chest, and dick first onto Tax. That was insane. Match is nuts, man. There's too much great shit that happened in this match for the count. Like, what to recap, but like, yeah, man, the match is just nuts. And like, I mean,
bro,
was this the best match of the year?
It's up there. It's up there.
Like, the only thing I can think on top of my head would be like the Omega in Gabe Kidd.
And Gabe, and then I think you gotta probably talk about Gabe and Suji, even though
I haven't
didn't
seen
have
that.
That's
I haven't seen New Beginning.
Goto Zach, this was like, I saw people trying to hate on this. I saw people trying to give it 3.5 and shit. I'm like, all right, man, y'all need to jump in acid, get boiled in oil. Look, nah, we disagree.
Same person gave it 3.5 was like, there's only one match like they gave over 4.5 stars on this show. I was like, all right, man, all right, I get it,
All right, man. Yeah, like I thought this was just like an example. Also, another feud ender. We got 3 feud enders on this thing. Like as far as like multiple matches escalating, it only getting bigger, with each one, and then it's 3? Like, excuse me, this is our 4th match actually.
No. I mean, like you're saying, like, I thought you were saying there were three like feud ending matches on the show.
Oh yeah, like because I was looking at
there more than that.
Swerve and Ricochet. I was looking at Tony Storm, Mariah May, Ospreay and Fletcher. I know Kesha and Omega's kind of been
Kesha and Omega.
I just maybe because it's like it's not the 3rd match, so I was like,
okay.
So, but yeah, man, like Ospreay and Fletcher, like they just go out of this world. Like it's one of the greatest cage matches I've ever seen. AEW's cage matches in general, like rarely ever miss. Like think people know when they step in the cage, they gotta bring it. And it was like,
are there cage matches the worst than when you add more people to them? Like, are the worst cage matches in AEW history technically like the blood and guts?
Yes.
Technically speaking,
yes.
That's nuts.
Yes.
That's nuts.
But it was just like, I can't believe that, like, just how this match started with them standing on that cage. And then I think they told a story just with that. And then Kyle Fletcher was like, I don't hear none of this shit. Put his finger in his ear. Will's just looking like he's just
Do you like the
in the
part
zone, man?
Do you like the part where Ospreay teased like, yeah, maybe I came up with new music instead of just come out with Elevated?
All right.
That shit was hilarious.
I heard that shit and I was like, Will, don't ever play with me again. Like that you ain't gonna play Elevated out here. Don't do it.
Yeah, I don't know if you know I came with new music by Skrillex. I'm like, man, please.
Yeah.
They finna play Elevated, they finna lose it in here.
Yeah, stop this. But Will, Mark Davis ends up running in, getting in with the bolt cutters. So people were upset about this and all that. But then Will Ospreay, like a real top star, started whooping these niggas 2-on-1.
Yeah, I thought I didn't mind it because like this was made to feel like the blow off match between these two. So you add in the third person that would have been involved in all this had he not been injured, and they did it. I mean, obviously that was indulgent for their taste to add Davis, but I was fine with it because like it got the weapons into the ring without some other nonsense. I mean, even then, like the screwdriver shit was funny. Like, also, did anyone know? Did we find out when Ospreay spiked that screwdriver if it hit anybody after it bounced? Because it bounced off the mat and then went flying into the crowd, going more towards the like.
I thought it landed in the turnbuckle.
No. When it got to the top, remember when he stabbed him at the top of the cage? They were both on top of the cage, like they were Tam and Masspoi at the top of the cage. Like, yeah, when Ospreay stabbed him, he then spiked it into the floor on the padding floor, and then it bounced and then it went like flying into the crowd. And I don't know if like did someone come up on a nice little suit. Is somebody gonna be a 1% owner of 0.1% owner of the Jacksonville Jaguars off of that?
But yeah, epic match, and like I'm not like I was in I think I might have been in the VOW forum as I was seeing people try to dump on it. I was like, okay, we will see y'all at the end of the year, the Voice of Wrestling top 10 matches of the year. We will see you there.
Yeah, that's gonna finish in the top 10 match of the year.
Like, you will be wrong.
That's one of the matches that Dave Meltzer gives like 5.5 stars to.
Yeah, I think he's gonna go 5.75.
Whatever, you get my point. Like, it's one of the matches that Dave Meltzer is like.
I'm just saying, it's just a prediction.
He goes over the 5-star barrier or whatever else. Yeah.
It's just a prediction. So, but yeah, man. Like after this, it was like, yo, Will Kenny, Swerve. Like, it was just like Hangman at the beginning of the show. It was like, we have the niggas. Like, you know, Arby says, we have the meats. Like, we have these niggas here.
What's wrong with you, man?
We've got the best niggas here, bro.
Oh, boy.
And then these niggas decide to come out for the main event. Oh, my God. This
all right,
main
hold on,
event,
before we get here. Let's go match by match real quick. Do you have a star rating for the Adam Page and MJF?
4.5.
That's about where I would put it. I have to watch it, but that sounds about right. The Mercedes and Momo match.
I'd probably go 4.
Same. All right. Swerve and Ricochet. I got 4.5 on that.
I'd probably go 4 3/4 on that.
Okay. The next match would have been what, the Outrunners match?
No, Okada and Brody King.
I'm going
3.75.
3.75, yeah. Then you get to the tag match, right?
Yeah, tag
all
match.
Right, skip that. The Hollywood the Hollywood match, right? Hollywood bar, whatever, death match, whatever. I probably 4 and 3. I probably go 4.5, 4 3/4.
Same.
Right.
I'm 4.6 probably on that.
Right, and then the next 2 matches, I'm giving 5 stars to both of them. I know you go over 5 stars. I don't.
Yeah.
So that's where we are. Now, just to recap you how awesome this show was. Now
yeah, man. And then
back to the bullshit.
We get these niggas that walk out for the main event. This match has a 3.22 on Cage Match right now, right? Jon Moxley, a 3.22 on 255 votes, James.
Oof.
So Jon Moxley and Cope come out here, and they clearly did not collaborate on the gear because, like, Moxley's wearing this green that yeah, and Cope, I thought he was trying to do some type of Laker thing, maybe. I couldn't really tell.
Forgive Rich. He's partially colorblind. He is navy and like the like neon green, so it's like Seahawks colors.
Okay, gotcha. So like the first thing is like they try to sing like Copeland's song, but like the crowd is really checked out of it after the first chorus. But then some reason they keep continuing, but like they don't recognize all the lyrics. Words.
Yep.
They don't know the words.
Right.
Like that, there was clearly like a buzz, like a.
It was basically like, hey, you know, we saw Grand Slam Australia, so and they sang the whole song, so we got to sing the whole song. But like Dash, you know the words. Y'all ain't know the words.
You ain't got to do that.
Yeah, you ain't got to.
Required to do this.
Right.
So Moxley and Copeland start, and they just started exchanging shitty forearms with each other, and then like
shitty?
The crowd.
I thought they were good. It's just the crowd.
Excuse me, I forgot something. They rang the bell, right? And then like everyone just stared. This was a reverse bell pop, James. Like I've never seen no shit like this. Like just like ding ding ding, and then it was just like, all right. Then they start. They have no idea how to work this match, and it's the wrong match for the wrong crowd with the wrong people in it because y'all shouldn't have been here. The guys that should have been main eventing this show. Yeah, the guys that should have been main eventing this show, or the women that should have been main in this show, they already came out. They already worked the contemporary match for the modern audience right here.
Right.
This shit here was like, I think it was a tone deaf match. It was a match for a crowd that I feel like far advanced passes. They were bored. I thought the work itself was just like pedestrian at best, but it was just the wrong place, the wrong time, the wrong energy for this whole thing. And it was like everybody knew Cope shouldn't have been out there at that point, bro. Like when they're trying to pretend him, you know, jumping off the ropes, you know, to the bottom where, you know, floor part was with a damn near a double axe handle was supposed to be some like devastating move. When I just saw Osprey and Fletcher doing a Spanish fly out there, it's just not going to hit the same. Moxley, add another stinker to the resume here, buddy. Like, I think Jon Moxley is going to. When I messaged you last night, I was talking about him too. Between all these shitty matches and these shitty performances and the shitty angle and title run, he's going to lose Hall of Fame support over this, and it's his fault too. Like, this is bad.
Yeah. Yeah, man. This was not the match. This should not. I don't know who was back there that didn't like tell them, "Yo, this ain't it. This Moxie reign is stunk. We have not had a cohesive through line for this whole entire reign that was set up at the beginning to be this one thing, then it's trying to be something else. We have not moved off, or we haven't moved off it to something else more compelling. We have a slew of matches that our fans care about infinitely more, with better workers. And this match or this show was a perfect example of like, yo, they had a tough task if you're going to main event them anyway. And then like all the matches that should have had the main event honors in front of them, because there were multiple matches, right? The Tony and Mariah, the Swerve and Ricochet, the Osprey and Fletcher, hell, the Takeshita and Omega. All the matches should have main event over this, and all the matches either met or exceed. Oh, I'm sorry, MJF and Adam Page as well. All those matches either met expectation or exceeded them. And the expectations for those matches were all much higher than Jon Moxley versus Adam Copeland in 2025. So they were fucked. That's why I pointed out, like, when I tweeted out, like, those two are fucked, it was before they even got to the cage match between Fletcher and Ospreay. And then they went out there and had the best match of that night. It was like, oh, you guys are done. You have no shot. And then they went out there and, you know, it was like a typical Edge match since he came back in 2020, Edge Copeland, where it's like, you have a match, but like the main things that set off the match, get the crowd to care about is like smoke and mirrors, right? So it's like, all right, you got Yuta in here, you get Jay White in here, Jay White accidentally hits Copeland. Was that on purpose? Was it unintentional? Whatever else, we don't know. Yuta pulls out Jay White. There's a near fall. Ref gets pulled. Here's Christian to cash in. It turns to a three-way match. Like, bro, this was like...
Wasn't it Wheeler? Didn't we just get Wheeler to return out of nowhere with no hesitation for nothing? Like, you know, he just interferes, doesn't even think twice that he shook Copeland's hand or whatever. He just walks out. And when I see Wheeler Yuta walk out, I'm already done with Wheeler Yuta. I want to fire him into the sun anyway because I don't care about Wheeler Yuta. This is not a star. This is just a guy or whatever. Like... Yeah. And I am quite frankly beginning to resent this, that they have spent 3 years on this fucking guy.
Well, the main thing they've done with him is the same thing they did with Garcia, except the problem is like the thing that made them interesting was like who was going to basically be the successor to Danielson, and then ultimately it turned to be neither.
Never coming.
It turned out to be neither.
Never coming.
Right. It turned to be neither, which is like, okay, so those two had something interesting when they were wrestling each other in ROH. Now they have nothing. Either one of them right now. So yeah, but whatever.
Christian, back to Christian coming out with
Christian,
the contract.
Christian then cashes in his Money in the Bank contract, which guarantees him a title shot versus at any point, any time, for the full year. And then, like. The match, the crowd wakes up, they're interested or whatever else, and it's like, oh, this is smoke and mirror. The smoke and mirror stuff start happening, and then Christian comes out, and the crowd interested. I was like, and then Christian ends up spearing Copeland, and then he goes for the pin, and then Moxley takes him off of him with the bully choke, and then he's fading. He doesn't want to tap out. He gets an arm on Copeland for the pin while Copeland's still down. And then Moxley pulls him off, and then he chokes him out. And he makes him tap out or pass out. Can't remember which one. And it's like that's the end of it. It's like, oh, so this is what it would have been like if like WrestleMania 31 made it between Roman Reigns, Brock Lesnar, and Seth Rollins absolutely sucked. That's what this would have been like. It's like, oh, we're gonna have a crummy match, and then someone's gonna cash in, turn the three-way, and it's gonna end on a crummy note. They learned all the wrong lessons from that match. And that's what this match was, basically.
Have I ever seen legendary levels of not wanting the job like Adam Copeland here in this thing? This Christian contract was not a contract for him to cash his shit in. This was not like something that, he was going to be the champion or anything. They had this man carry this shit around months in advance to ultimately make sure Adam Copeland did not have to do a job. Now, maybe he has that mentality of like, I need to keep myself strong until the very end. Whoever I want to put over at the end, they will get whatever. I'm here to tell you, I don't think it matters anymore.
The end of what?
His career or whatever.
It's over. It's too late. No one cares anymore.
It's over now. Like that's out the window.
Him and Christian need to go out here and have one last match versus the Young Bucks at All In Texas and move the fuck on. They need to be sent off. They both need to be sent off on that show.
I have no Christian. I don't have as much for Christian, but Copeland, I have no use for Adam Copeland in this promotion anymore.
That's my point. But the only way you can get him, Rich, what I'm saying is the only way you can get him out of here is if you give him some send off, and you don't want to give him a send off in a singles match. No one gives a fuck. So the only way you can send him off is with Edge and Christian. And what do you do? Send him to the Young Bucks. Let the Young Bucks go out there and carry him to four and a half star matches and send them on.
This is like I know I've never seen no shit like this.
I'm sorry. You got to sing it. You got to take Christian or Edge with you. Sorry, or Copeland with you.
I normally despise fake jobs. I hate fake jobs even more when people do them that do not deserve them or whatever. So, like, Adam Copeland has never moved a metric, a number, has never meant anything, really. This man has stole 5 years, because this goes back to WWE, too. Stole 5 years on the back end. Good for him, or whatever, because his career ended prematurely, and he was able to cash in and rake it in. Like, this man did not come to this promotion cheap. This man did not go back to WWE cheap at that time. So, like, I called it in 2022. I said, that man's a bad contract or whatever. Like, if this was like baseball or something, like this is like Albert Pujols at 39 years old or something like that. Like, this is a bad deal. Like, but he came here and got like this program, which we roundly detested in the build-up, the idea of it, how it was introduced. It made me think of World's End when Kenny Omega had to come back from before him or whatever, and then I was like, I feel no sympathy for like Copeland, whoever like put this together or whatever. No, like this thing has sucked. This match sucked. The idea of it sucked. Christian carrying around the job for months and months and months sucks. Like, and I guess we should quote unquote be happy because the briefcase stipulation is no longer. But that's a mirage. That's similar to Cody Rhodes taking himself from the main event. If you're not in the main event, you don't have to wrestle anybody. It's the same shit. Like, this is carny bullshit that I think has infected this promotion. And it, quite frankly, it peaked with that 12-man tag announcement that everyone went up in arms for a couple months ago. Like, the rest of this show from there said, essentially, fuck this. Like, we are going to, and the rest of the show proved it on this night, we are going to show what this company should be and who it should be led by. These old guys like Adam Copeland and even John Moxley at this point can really get the fuck on. Like, honestly, like, let Mox reunite the Shield. Hashtag, I'm done with it. He's wrestling Swerve Strickland next month. Moxley sneaks out the back door, walking through the crowd with the title. Prince Nana meets him. They kind of square off. Swerve swan dives on him from the top of the
security assembles whatever else to make sure that like John Moxley doesn't massacre Prince Nana, which ultimately was like, oh, why are there so many people? That means Swerve's must be coming out. And I was like, oh, he's on the guard rail. And he's like, oh, guard rail, catch a vibe, Swerve stomp.
Yeah.
Now the only thing I would have liked to add to this, what they did to close the show that way, would have been if Swerve had grabbed the title and grabbed the briefcase, opened the briefcase, and showed the title. That I understand the whole point is it being in briefcases to be the pop for when someone like gets, finally beats him. I'm sorry. I'm not waiting any longer for Darby Allin to be the person to open up the fucking briefcase. It needs to be Swerve.
Needs to be now.
And it should have been last night. Fuck getting into Dynasty. It should have happened last night. I was in the middle of the match, the main event. I was like, Swerve needs to be the champion. That was like 11. It was like 11:50. He needs to be the champion before the pay-per-view time closes or whatever else. That
before
time
midnight.
closes. Get it before midnight. That's how disastrous. That's how like what do you call it? Crystallizing this show was and then the main event was like, yo, this shit here in this main event is like a totally different promotion from what we just saw the last like 3.5 hours. Get it out of here. Like, I love Jon Moxley. He's one of my favorite wrestling acts of the last half decade of pro wrestling. This has not worked. This has been an utter disaster. I don't know what needs to fix it to modulate it. At this point, I do not care. Get it away from the top of the promotion. Get it away from the title scene. Get it away from the main event. Move it or get rid of it.
Be very loud. If you wish Swerve Strickland to beat Jon Moxley, I would advise you guys to raise hell. They listen, and quite frankly, like, Jon Moxley should be coming off this belt to Swerve Strickland. Like, it's like there's no argument that says otherwise.
Is this the worst title? Is this the worst title reign in AEW history?
Yes.
Yeah.
Remove the CM Punk one day.
That includes MJF. That includes CM Punk and VO. Both VOs.
The VOs, I feel like we need to throw those to the side or whatever. Those were destructive to the belt, but ultimately there's not enough to really evaluate. Do you think I'm going to write a Jon Moxley title eulogy for this shit? Hell no. Like this shit's not inspiring me to write anything about this except how it needs to get the fuck on.
It should, so you can absolutely put it buried underneath the Earth's mantle.
Like, I can't I don't even want to say I can't believe it, because I saw it coming. Like, the whole Danielson thing is connected to this long play thing, right? Like, I don't see the point in saving anything at this point. I'm so disappointed in not only this match, like this title reign, like the Copeland thing. It was like, did they have no one else to basically, like, they couldn't even have Copeland's job. They made Christian come in and do the fall. So it was like, all right, man, you two can get the fuck out of here. Like, I don't, it's so, like, this was so bad. The crowd was staring at this. They were quiet in the building. It was awkward. Like,
polite golf claps.
It was just like, yeah, dog, like, this ain't it. Like, in so many words, there's no way they walked back in there like, we got them. There's no way that happened. John
from Okase said something along the lines of, like, this feels like, forget the part where, like, there are 10,000 people in the building. This feels like the reaction you get in Shinkiba first ring. And I added to it, was like, no, this is like the feeling you get in Shinkiba first ring in the winter when there's no central air in the building and everyone's bundled the fuck up.
Yeah.
Dead.
This is bad, man. Like, this is really bad. This is one of the worst main events in the history of the company. Arguably the worst. Like, the MJF and Jay White one, we know that one was really bad, but at least they did some shit in that match.
The crowd actually cared about that match.
Like, and then MJF versus Adam Cole, they did some cool shit.
Adam Cole and MJF wrestled circles around Moxley and in Copeland in that match.
Yeah, man. This was so bad. This was like, the crowd didn't pop for Swerve. They went home happy because Swerve's the most overman in the building. So of course they did. So, like,
they ain't got nothing to do with the match sucking.
Yeah, like they knew. They knew. That's why they set this shit up. Like, or whatever. They knew some bullshit was set to occur. So, like, I don't know, man. They wasted all these weeks on this, all this storytelling or whatever, to not deliver really on Copeland losing.
So that was 3 months.
Beating
that was
him.
3 months, right?
Yep.
From World's End, 3 months. Waste of time.
A total waste of time.
Yep.
An absolute waste of time. And I don't know who needs to hear this, but there needs to be some apologies given out. I'm not going to say who they need to be given to, but I'm not the only one that saw this shit in advance, and I think he should get an apology.
Yeah. Like, yeah, man, Jon Moxley, Dean Ambrose just is not a good heel at all. He's just a terrible heel. and he needs to go away, come back, say, you know what, bro, I was tripping. My bad, y'all. I'll be back to like trying to get y'all, you know, approval and whatever else, and be back to being like the babyface. Cause babyface Jon Moxley, we didn't have these problems. This is a fucking problem. This is a genuine problem for this promotion. Like he has done too much for this company. It's been too important for this company for him to be out here laying eggs like this. Either he needs to change, either it needs to be optimized, or it needs to be sent packing elsewhere. One of the two. I don't care what.
Him beating Swerve.
I would love for it to be optimized, but if it can't be handled that way, if he sees fit, he wants to do some other shit. Do some other shit elsewhere.
The thought of him beating Swerve feels like it's a revolt point for this company. Like I think people will go fucking crazy. In similar way that they did with that 12-man tag announcement, this will be 5 times as worse as that if Moxley beats Swerve. This cannot happen. This is a flashpoint.
There is no... You want to know why? Because if he were to... if Jon Moxley were to beat Swerve at Dynasty, people in their minds are going to be like, oh my God, you're going to, after this year, this shitty year he's had, you're going to put him in the main event of All In Texas? Are you out of your fucking mind?
They still got Double or Nothing, but I mean, it's right around the corner.
But there's no way they're going to make a new there's no way they're going to change the belt there and then be able to sell a match at Texas. It has to be done now. Or not now, but by Dynasty. If you're going to do a title change, you need to do it now and to make sure Jon Moxley is not in the main event of All In Texas in this particular shape he's in right now. It's bad. Like, and the weird part about it is he's in great physical shape. So I don't know what the fuck's going on. It's just the matches aren't matching and the act stinks.
Yeah, this is so bad. Strap up Swerve. That's the answer here, and then figure the rest out. You got tons of opponents for that guy, I would imagine, and he can build a program with all of them. So this is real simple to me. Oh,
yeah. But yeah, I mean, that's the only real that's the only real major point of negativity on this show. Otherwise, this was a great show, memorably great show. This is probably this is the front one for show of the year contender. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure now at this point right now is this show and New Beginning are probably the two shows people are talking about the most as far as best show of the year so far.
Yeah.
Your old or broken phone can let you down when you need it most.
Perfect.
But at Verizon, trade in any old phone from our top brands and get the most for it, up to $2,000 in value for an amazing new iPhone 16 Pro with Apple Intelligence and a new line on My Plan, and iPad and Apple Watch Series 10. That's like a 3-for-1. And you can get it on any plan. At Verizon, trade in your old phone for a brand new iPhone 16 Pro, iPad, and Apple Watch. The other guys won't give you that. Visit Verizon.com today. Additional terms apply. Service plan required for Apple Watch and iPad. Up to $2,000 value based on iPhone, iPad, and Apple Watch.
Yeah, man. So let's talk about Lakers and Celtics, man. So both watched that game and all that. That was in Boston on Saturday night. It also was kind of a big NBA weekend. I started watching Thunder in
Nuggets,
but I turned it off. I ended up starting to do something else. But so we'll just talk about the Lakers and the Celtics. So I know the Lakers did not have Jackson Hayes in the lineup.
Didn't have Jackson Hayes, no Rui Hachimura, and then the Celtics had no. They haven't had Porzingis, but Drew Holiday decided to play. And I did not know this, but apparently I've now become aware that
the meme
Lakers fans are up in arms and feel that teams and players that are injured always come back against the Lakers and no one else. Were you aware of this phenomenon?
Yes, it's kind of a noticeable thing. I've started hearing about it in the last couple of weeks. Okay. And apparently it's a thing.
I've always heard the stories of guys play out of their mind and have these games where they emotionally get up for the Lakers. I've heard that from you for years. Particularly there's always random Blazers that go out, they go nuts. But
It's usually in Portland, or people will come to the Staples Center and go crazy.
Right. And I was like, well, that kind of happens in MSG, but like, I don't recall people like, yeah, it's MSG, it's time for me to go ahead and, after being out for, 10 days, now it's time for me to come out here and play. I don't recall that necessarily. But this was like, the Drew Holiday thing, people were upset about that, and I was like, well, I mean, if you could play, you could play. But yeah, and then I saw Lakers fans complaining about like how many minutes Tatum and Brown play. Like, why did they play 48, 46 minutes, 47 minutes?
Bro,
and shit?
these
Like,
niggas,
because they wanted to.
Them not the same niggas. Look, them niggas not the Laker fans I know. Like, them is them.
It was like
we got to share space with these niggas.
Yeah, I was like, look, the only thing I only took it as the only thing this tells me is that like this rivalry still burns with the flames of 1,000 suns. Like the passion's still there. All you gotta do is have a whiff that that the Lakers themselves might meet up in June, and they already going nuts. Oh man, the NBA.
I was like, all right.
Look, Kendrick Perkins on that bullshit. Somebody say the Lakers have resurged the league. I ain't agree with that. But what I will say is the prospect that at that point in time the Lakers were the 2 seed. I think they're 2 seed still right now. The Celtics are the 2 seed, and like you got 2 other teams that are like 50 and 11. So like, and even if they're unknown, like the Cavs or lesser known, like the Cavs and the Thunder are, potentially the Cavs and the Thunder have to beat the Lakers or Celtics in front of a national audience, watching those stars or defending champions to get to the finals. So that should be good for the league one way or the other. So yeah, man. What do you think of the game at first? Just your initial thoughts. What do you think of that game?
So, like, I feel like it taught me some, I don't really still want to weigh this team without, like, Jackson Hayes, because apparently that's a big deal or whatever.
Yeah, it is because he's the only person that can catch lobs. And like, when you watch that game, it was so obvious. It was like, oh, like, they don't have anybody that can, they just throw the ball, like, based off of how the defense is playing, like, here's a screen. And like, cause everything for the Lakers felt like everything was just a 3-point shot. Like nothing felt like I'm getting by somebody, or I'm taking the screen and I'm getting to the rim, or I'm going to get close to the rim, and like me getting to the rim is going to draw attention. I can throw the lob. And like there's been games where
not
like,
athletic.
Yeah, there's been games where Jackson Hayes had like 6-7 dunks in a game just off the lob threats from the lobs from Luka and LeBron.
Like, I noticed, like, we are not athletic. Like, our 3 best players are not athletic. So it's like, I think that's going to be a struggle in itself. And matched up with Brown and Tatum, that is a nightmare matchup for them. Because, Brown and Tatum are going to play 40 minutes each. They're going to guard on both sides, guard and then score on the other side. So it's a bunch of, Jaylen Brown, anytime he see Luka, he'll put him in jail. Luka was struggling. I don't know what was up with him. Bad. Like at that point, it's like, I don't know, like, the conditioning, like, he's still working on that, he's still getting back. Like,
I don't even just say about the conditioning. Just his back was creaky all night, and then like he just didn't move the way he normally moves. So it's like, if Al Horford can stay, my point was like, Al Horford stayed in front of him. He's not right. Like,
Al Horford was staying in front of LeBron too.
Watching his run. I mean, he's always stayed in front of LeBron, relatively speaking, anyway. But just like, LeBron can still there's one difference between you can stay in front of him and like, I let you stay in front of me. Like with LeBron, it's like, I'll let you stay in front of me because I want to shoot a 3. With Luka, was like, he's out here multiple dribbles and he can't actually get past him. And that's worrisome. I mean, obviously that wouldn't be as worrisome if Jackson Hayes was out there, because they would have, he would have slipped by him or got him on his side and then, rolled him towards the rim towards a lob or something like that, or made the defense collapse and kicked out. But the thing for me was watching just like, the Lakers are actually like, it's one thing to, they beat the hell out of the Nuggets off a defensive scheme, sending a bunch of people at Jokic. They played the Knicks, whatever else. Like, that game and the intensity was played at, that felt like a playoff game.
Yeah.
And I was like, it was a playoff game, and they stuck with them, and they got behind big, and then they got the game within 4, and then LeBron was out. And I was like, there's no Rui Hachimura that would have helped with the athleticism and some of the rebounding stuff and also shooting. And it was just, I was like, wow, this is one thing to be like, I think this team could be good. It's like, no, this Lakers team is like for real. And like they're a legitimate team they're a legitimate threat to, get to the West Conference Finals. It ain't just a hot streak thing. And that's the thing when watching them play that game and watching how hard that both teams play is like, both of these teams really wanted to win that game. And ultimately the Celtics won because the Celtics are the better team. But it's just amazing, like, it's just amazing, like, the turnaround this thing has been for the Lakers, like, just competitively. Like, I was expecting, like, another, even though they did play better even with AD and without AD out the lineup with the injury or whatever else. I was like, this is a team that's going to, like, creep to, like, 48 wins, be like a, be a team that, like, might win in one round and get destroyed in the second round. But like, nah, this looks like a real, like, team that can get to the Western Conference Finals. Like, I gotta see what they do against the Thunder.
Maybe. Because, like, I saw there were things on
putting up 40 and 20. I get that.
I mean, there is that. But, like, I was going to say, like, they were at times, it was like LeBron was playing center for, like, large portions of this game. And, like, I didn't like the offense of him. It was like he was just going 1-4 high on pretty much everything. It's like I felt like the entire defense was just watching him to make a decision. And then, whether the decision worked or not, it was a variable, and he struggled in the second half. I didn't think he had his legs. Like, every shot was short.
Well, yeah, I mean, he pulled or tore his groin. Like, I mean, that's the thing about the, like, you don't like the way they played. It's like, well, they don't play that way because Hayes was out and so was Hachimura. Like, Hachimura would have played center in some of the lineups. And don't get me wrong, like, I didn't necessarily realize at first Jackson Hayes was out. I thought it was a lineup decision to be able to play on the put shooters on the floor for Luka and LeBron because to get spacing on the floor for the drive lanes, because like Jackson Hayes, you don't necessarily want Jackson Hayes. You want him out there for offense. I don't know if you want him out there for defense because the Celtics, they would hunt him.
Yeah. Yeah, it was like, for me, a lot of the 3-point, like, the Lakers are much more successful from three than I felt like I've seen them shoot in years. And like, I was like, bro, I don't know, this don't exactly feel sustainable. Like, this feels kind of like fool's gold or whatever. I'm like, so I just feel like I still got to see them with Jackson Hayes and see like his real impact. And it just makes me nervous that my two best players are not athletic. And then it's like, I see the matchups like in the pitfalls for them against people like Tatum and Brown, who are just big, long, and athletic that are going to cause them just problems. Like, like what would Giannis do to us? Like, it would be like he'd do what he want.
See, the thing for me, what I was looking for while watching it was honestly is like the thing that. I think that the Lakers are weak against anybody. It's not necessarily wings. Like, they're weak against the Celtics because of what Celtics have more shooting than God, right? Like, that's the reason why they're weak. Like, if there was like one less shooter on the floor, I think they could actually contain the Celtics a little bit better. But they have so much shooting for it. It's always going to be a wide open lane. They're playing 5 out always. There's nothing you can do with that. Or seemingly always playing 5 out. But like a team like the Bucks, they can compact the paint more. Like, the thing about this Lakers defense is like they are trying to pack the paint to get you to shoot your weakest shooters to shoot threes. The problem is the Celtics' weakest shooters would be like the average team's like third or fourth best shooter. So like that's the difference. They got Derek White. They got like their weakest shooter on the floor most times is Jaylen Brown. And Jaylen Brown's the person that will take step back threes. You know what I'm saying? Like, you put him in the corner, and it's like, all right, Porzingis, they just got shooters. They just got shooters everywhere. Like, motherfucker guys, who was it? Pritchard scored 40 the other day. You know?
Yeah, Hauser. They got, I mean, Jason Tatum, 40, 12, and 8, face of the league, Jason Tatum.
Yeah.
Like that man bust ass. Like both halves. Like that was
great.
That was an impressive performance. I thought Jaylen Brown was awesome too, and he was just like he just got this look about him, bro. He's terrifying.
I would find so how do I say this? Tatum obviously is the better player. At least against Luka. When I watched the Celtics play against the Mavs in the finals last year against the or the other night against the Lakers, is like they're at times, even though I know Tatum is a better player, at times I'm like, nah. Sometimes I feel like Jaylen Brown's a better player. Like it's not like it's closer than people are willing to give it credence to. It just Tatum is so much more advanced athletically offensively as a creator that is like, nah, he's better. And he's a better shooter. That's like, nah, he is the guy, but it's like, yeah, but like there's just something to when like Jaylen Brown will do stuff on defense and like create, like as far as open floor, that's like Tatum just can't do. They complement each other very well as two big wings. They really do. And they, obviously only a year apart, like they they found two all-stars. And then they built around them well, and then they've got, because of, the Mavs and Luka and Porzingis, they got Porzingis for nothing, or not actually. He ended up in the Wizards, and they ended up getting him from the Wizards for nothing. And then because of Dame Lillard trade, they got Drew Holiday for nothing. So now they're basically unbeatable. Like they were just around and batting around, like we're really good, and all of a sudden they got two moves to put them over the top, and now you just got to deal with it for next year. That's just what they are. Like, and I think people, because it's the Celtics and because it's Tatum and he's not much of a personality, and Jaylen Brown is an enigma, if you will. People and you've seen him lose a lot. Like people just kind of like were thrown off the scent of like they're never going to win. And then they did win, and now you're kind of stuck like, wow, they're really going to win 2 in a row. It's like, yeah, they probably are going to win 2 in a row.
Like, bro, you're gonna look up and it's like, oh shit, they big homie actually. Like,
yeah.
So, I don't know who in the East can beat them. So, I mean, the Cavs, that's going to be a series, but like, I feel like there's a hole on the Cavs somewhere.
It really comes down to, do you really buy that if it gets to crunch time, would your offense actually hold up against the Celtics? And I got to see that.
I would put Jason Tatum on Donovan Mitchell and say, all right, shoot over this 6'10" nigga now.
Right. And really the main thing is like, hey, Darius Garland, are you actually going to show up in the playoffs this year?
Yeah.
If he does, then yeah, sure. If not, they're gonna lose again. Cause like Mobley's he keeps, after his first 2 years, people were like, "This is gonna be the next Kevin Garnett," which is like, I've heard that for 20 years. Then that's fucking Kevin Garnett, and like he's probably gonna win the Defensive Player of the Year because Wembanyama's out now. But it's like he like his rate of growth is actually like linear, incremental. There has been no breakthrough. And people keep expecting the breakthrough. Is like, maybe he's just going to be says he steadily grows and whatever else. And maybe next year it'll be the year that gets him on the hump. But like, they're a great defense. It feels like they're missing something offensively at the top. But regular season wise, they're rolling through people.
The thoughts on the Pistons. I haven't watched much of the Pistons, but everything I've seen with Kate Cunningham has like been like, oh, they're actually going to steal like one of these lower seed, matches, and depending on who they get, they might be able to shock somebody just because of Kay's individual talent.
Yeah. I mean, well, if they get to 6, they're 6 seed, right? Yeah, it looks like the center for Detroit and Knicks, right?
I think they want the Knicks.
Oh, you do want the Knicks?
Yeah, the Pistons are the 6. Knicks are 3
so 6,
right
3, now. That will be a fun series for me personally, because it's like, boy,
is Isaiah Stewart going to try to fight Cat?
He'll try to fight somebody.
Yeah,
because he
might be. Well, you never know who it'll be.
Man, yeah, man. I think the Knicks should beat them. They're just too good offensively. They're too deep offensively. But like, it is interesting to see. Like a year ago, it was like, bro, this looks hopeless. Like a year ago, it was like, bro, okay, gonna have to be like, get me the fuck out of here. Like, I can't remember if he made the All-Star team or not, but he should have, because the teams just sucked and he was awesome. So it's like, I'm glad that like they're. we can kind of avoid the situation of like young guy, really fucking good. Organization's such a fucking mess that like he has to leave. So yeah. And like, you know, I'm at this point, I'm almost feel bad for Detroit basketball. They've been bad for almost 20 years at this point.
They've been bad a long time. Good. Like, right.
Yeah. I don't care about Detroit basketball. Like, to a lot of people, though, that still holds on them. Like, they grew up on that stuff. For me, I feel like they're just historically spoilers for everything that you actually really want to see in the NBA in the last 40 years of basketball. Like, bro, we don't want to see you niggas. We want to see Lakers and Celtics again. Get the fuck out of here. Like, no, nigga, we do not want to see you win a title. You ruined Gary Payne's chance to win a title. Fuck you, niggas. Like, I hate you guys, man. Now, and then it's like, Detroit and San Antonio in the 05 finals. Oh my God. Like, I want to watch this shit. Like, Tim, get them out of here, please. Please get them out of here.
It's like the Hawks are in the playoff position. 2-7, you know, look. They might have to play the Celtics. That might not go well for them, but
might not go well. Look, Celtics and
I know somebody that's coming to play. I know Trey is coming to play.
That is going to be an ass whooping.
The Hawks need to try to go on a run so they get the Knicks in the first round, so we can keep this going.
Huh? That was 2021, right?
I think so.
Yeah, because that was the year the Bucks won. Because then the Bucks played them in the conference finals. Yeah,
and then LeBron is injured now or out for
he
indeterminate amount of time.
Tore his groin, and he's out weeks. It's not days, it's weeks. And then all the thing you think of like that when he tore his groin on Christmas Day 2018 is like. So I remember when you told me he was day to day that one time when he fucked up his groin, and then all of a sudden he didn't play for like 6 weeks, some shit like that. How long was he out for, Rich? That year, his first year as Laker.
He did not come back until March from.
What was it? It was listed as a day to day injury that happened on Christmas Day. Lying ass.
They always lie about LeBron shit. So I never really know what to think. So I'm just like,
so when they tell me, it's weeks, I'm like, I ain't buying this.
You know, figure it out. Whatever you're gonna do for the end of the year and all that. So, make sure you get Luke. I said, call in and get his PED shipment, get the new cycle going for the playoffs, and then he can give Luka the contact over the summer or whatever.
Right.
So,
my question, people to do the whole thing about the PED things, about he's going to. So I saw someone's like, he's going to go fly to Europe to get PED. It's like, you understand how rich LeBron James is, right? You think that he would need an excuse to go have injuries to not to take time off? Like, that makes no sense. Like, you remember, what was it? We Gonna Make It? He's like, because when my coat come in, I got this. He's like, when my coat come in, I got to use the scales that the way it was. But like, he's rich enough where he got his own plane to fly that shit in. What are y'all talking about? What are you talking about? You think LeBron is gonna fly over there? No, he flies him in if that were the case. What are you talking about? Niggas is making shit up.
You gotta be there to monitor, you know. But yeah, right now, so like I don't know how long he's gonna be out, but Luka gonna have to, put the team on his back though, and kind of hold the position. But they could. I don't know how long he's gonna be out, so I don't know how low the Lakers can fall or whatever. But right now, it's like 3-6 right now. So, and they're 4 games in front of the Warriors, who are the 6th seed. So,
yeah, they ain't gonna fall to them.
Yeah. The Rockets are the 5 and they're 1 game back. So,
but the Rockets have been free falling for a while now.
Yeah,
like some shit like
that.
I don't trust them. 10 last I checked or something like that.
Don't
and
trust
then Memphis still has like Jaren Jackson Jr. Jaren Jackson Jr. out. They're kind of locked in a top 4 seed no matter what. And then I think the Warriors can still ascend, but like I think the gap's too big to where they can actually pass the Lakers.
Hmm. Yeah, interesting, man. So Lakers lost to the Nets tonight. Oh yeah, I saw that. The D'Angelo Russell revenge game.
That man don't care about winning or losing. He cares about getting buckets.
So I'm gonna open up the questions to you guys in the chat. If you want to ask us some stuff, We'll answer a few. So it's on you guys. But while we wait for questions, make sure that you guys are entering the March Madness tournament that is being put together by my man MJ Does PR. Go to the Social Suplex Discord and check it out with, in the NCAA basketball section. And then, enter. I believe Selection Sunday is next week. So after that, you'll be able to join in. Also, get a shirt, Get some merch, donate to the network, all of it. So, yeah. All right. First question comes from Brewhaven. What would you do with Moxley post title run?
Man, I'd move him down the card, obviously. But I don't know. I mean, there's no good answer. There's no good answer other than let him go.
I asked John Moxley what he would like to do at that point. I'm like, look, we tried it. What do you think? Well, I would make him do a self-evaluation. How those when you work a job and they tell you write your own evaluation and shit, like, and it's a mental trick to make you write some bullshit essentially. I'm like, nah, bro, you tell me how it went. And then I'm like, let's compare your notes to my notes. And then I'll be like, all right, I'm going to need you to put over at least 2 people I designate, and then we'll reevaluate from there. And if you want to still, be in the company, we'll work with you. Your wife works here. We'll figure out a spot for you. You are a seminal member of the team that helped build this company, right? So I think there should be a certain level of respect for him there. But at that point, I would be like, look, you're never being the world champion again. Like, I'd be like, are you okay with this? And then depending on his answer, that's the way you go with it. Oh, you're not okay with it? All right, I think we need to rip it up and chunk up the dudes. Do you want to help tell stories and you want to help elevate other people at this point? Because I don't see the top end
in the interviews you've done.
Yeah, I don't see the top end for you. Really, I see, I see your guy like past your prime, or you can go see what they're talking about on that side.
Yeah. He needs to be moved down the card, and he needs to be a person that basically puts people over at this point. Like, kind of like 2022 Jericho, if you will. It's crazy to think that like we're already here with Moxley, but yeah, we are. We're here with Moxley now at this point. Like a tag run or a trios run, that kind of stuff. But yeah, outside of that,
it's a wrap.
Yeah.
One Up versus CPU. Is Tam retiring for real?
Seems like it. And I think it's being handled. I think it's been handled in a completely irresponsible and dumb way. Like, I understand they Drew doing all this shit. I don't care. Like, this was some boy who cried wolf type shit. For them to do that stipulation at Corrigan Hall, that loser leaves town shit, and then commentate at the end of the match as Tam's walking out and be like, "Yeah, how about Yokohama Arena?" What the fuck? Like, that's like if this was any promotion, if this was a major American promotion, people would rake that shit over the coals. I don't give a damn how good that match was, and I thought the match was awesome. But like, this is nonsense, and like also it doesn't, and like it also just like it hurts. Any semblance, or I mean, not even semblance, like, you don't even get the retirement tour money off of it. You don't even get the cool matches and the send off of it. It's all just, all right, well, this could be the last match since the last match. It's some boy who cried wolf shit. And from a person that I hold in high regard as a great storyteller, I think this stinks. I think it's one of the worst things she's done as far as storytelling, because it literally spits in the face of the stakes. Like, you created stakes and then you made immediately fake stakes. What you just watched didn't mean anything.
Yeah, that's hard to really get around. Like, as far as like feeling like, okay, now like I understand they put it on YouTube for free. They did a lot of things that were alarms to people to be like, oh, don't take this seriously. But ultimately, you ran the match.
When we talked about it, when we talked about it in the passing on the show when it was announced like 3 weeks ago, or whatever else, we both laughed it off. It's like, no, neither one of them are leaving. And what happened? Neither one of them left. You do not want that in your promotion. Where you make
before they do the technicality of Tam is a freelancer. I'm like, all right, man, if she's a freelancer, is she working anywhere else? Does she have dates that?
I mean, she's doing like what do you call it? She's doing a tag match with like with Yumiko Hoda and I think Aja Kong or some shit like that. But it's like, who cares?
Yeah, it's like we know what story you're currently wrapped up in, like.
Right. And like they're bringing her in, and it's also like it's a lose or leave stardom match or whatever else. But like, and then she had a match, or she has a match like coming up, a tag match where she's like tagged with Starlight Kid or something like that against Kamatani. And it's like, all right, so you're a freelancer, but you're really only doing like it's just a retirement tour that just not named a retirement tour. When it's like you could have made more money if you just named a retirement tour. Like maybe the whole situation. I don't care if the situation is we don't want to call her a retirement tour because we also need her to help draw for Yokohama Arena. It was like, here's an idea. Don't do it.
Look at that.
Don't do it. Don't do the stipulation. Have her lose. Have her do a retirement tour after. If you have an out date by that point in time, then like you should have thought about this. You should have thought about this more. I almost said more better. You should have thought about this better or harder. Like it's just weird, bro. It's totally weird.
Question from ML Kid 945: is Cooper Flag going to lead Duke to win it all? The only other team I think is good is Auburn, and Duke beat them this year.
Yeah.
This is one of the best Duke teams of all time. Apparently, Cooper Flag's been incredible. Won like all the awards. Sure.
I don't know.
It would get like I was gonna say, it's not like I know a ton about college basketball right now, like who's out there, and it is the tournament. Literally, fucking anything could happen. Right. But this is one of the best Duke teams that have come around in a long time. So, and
is it better
Shire
than
gets
Zion
one
team?
Here. Yes.
Okay.
I don't think on paper it would look that way, but like the way that they're playing and like the record and the dominance, like. They had the Zion factor, like on the last one, but relative to the competition, like Duke is like beating the shit out of people this year, apparently. So,
I mean, they beat the shit out of Carolina. But that ain't really saying much at this point right now because every other year they stink.
But I would like to see Shire win one, and then at least he would be like, oh, you can win, so that'd be nice. Let's see. Any other questions, guys? Hurry up with the questions. We will give you just a moment to ask some more questions. But I heard they did the CM Punk and Seth Rollins cage match tonight, and the finish was Roman Reigns pulling Seth Rollins out of the cage. That's right, more fake jobs to whoop his ass, and then he got into the cage and whooped CM Punk's ass. So like. In Madison Square Garden, they did this. By the way,
why would Roman Reigns beat up CM Punk?
Three-way, Royal Rumble.
No, but I thought. Wait, maybe I'm misremembering what happened in the Rumble.
I think CM Punk threw them both out, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, and then like Rollins started a fight with both of them. So why would Roman show up to want to fight Punk? Shouldn't he only want to fight Rollins?
He saw Heyman helping CM Punk or some shit like that, like helping him up or some shit, and he blacked out, apparently. I'm like, all right. Like, this is so whack. Y'all clear, like, just do Punk and Roman, but they couldn't convince neither one of them to lose, so here you will have Seth Rollins with this. So, here you go. Compromise, exactly. Like everyone's gonna get what they want. CM Punk, you're gonna get a main event on night one.
Boy,
Seth Rollins, you're gonna also steal a main event.
One free main event thing finna ring off on the memes. Does he know that yet?
Know.
Is he aware?
Oh, he got to. Roman, you'll win the match. So you're going to get what you want. You'll win. Punk will main event, and Seth Rollins will main event, but lose. Thoughts on the Naomi heel turn? I have not watched the segment. I heard it was very well done, but
I saw clips of it. I want to know who bedazzled her neck brace.
I don't know. I don't really trust them to do anything with it. After they did what they did with the New Day, and then that led to like nothing. I had low confidence here.
Yeah. And it's like the most interesting thing that's going on with Bianca is not like her, being set to face Rhea at WrestleMania. It is this shit that has nothing to do with a match at WrestleMania. It happens in
they're also doing that 3-way. Apparently, Io smacked them both as they were going face to face. I'm like, okay, so the real match you wanted to book was Rhea versus Bianca, but you couldn't find anybody to lose. Oh, so we'll put Io in there too. She'll have the belt, so she'll walk in as a champion. She'll drop the belt to probably Bianca. So,
I mean, I don't know what the point is of preserving Rhea and Bianca is. If you presumably preserve her, you preserve her for WrestleMania. You're at WrestleMania. Just do the fucking match. But whatever.
Who else should Mercedes call from Stardom? Shuri. I need to watch the Shuri and Sarii match from Sariism. Apparently that happened today or yesterday or some shit. I will be running that down.
Yeah, I haven't seen it yet, but I was waiting to see it. Yeah, man, I'm sure that match is going to be shit. That might be the best match this weekend for all we know. But yeah, Shuri's someone that's going to be awesome when she comes over. If she comes over, but you can say that for like a half dozen people. The thing with Shuri that concerns me is like, who is the person that's signing up to get their ass beat? Doesn't mean anything. Like, if you want Shuri to get over, you got to get your ass beat. How many people?
See who's crazy. Mariah.
Was Mariah?
She'll wear it.
When Mariah was in the Grand Prix, they were in different blocks. So Shuri never got her hands on Mariah in that way.
Let's see. I am going through the roster, pulling up the women's side as I get through all these funky dudes. All right. She wrestled Anna Jay once already.
To be honest, if you want to send Darren Garcia out as human sacrifice for Shuri to be the TNT champion, I'm okay with that too.
Would Deanna want to get whooped? Probably not.
Probably not.
Sakura? Probably not.
Look, she's already lived that life. She don't want to.
Look, Harley might want a taste of it. She might. Have her fight Sheeta. Bring Sheeta back.
I think she's in Japan right now, isn't she? She has a bob haircut now.
She always changes the look. Jamie Hayter's there. Julia Hart will wear a whooping a little bit.
And is in Haterverse.
Yeah. Statlander. I don't know about the strike game, but
that'd be a fun. I would like to see that match. But like right now, she's preoccupied.
Yeah, Megan Bain. My pick's kind of Mariah right now.
Okay.
Queen Emanata. There we go.
Oof.
That's the one.
That'd be good.
So, and Tay Mello, whenever she's back.
She was. She came over with Athena at the beginning of the year to Stardom.
Yep. So, any other questions here? Who is ML Kid said a few weeks ago, as y'all said, the politics in this Mania season were going to be nasty. Yes. Before we get to, apparently The Rock wanted Cody Rhodes to turn heel, which Cody said, no. Why would I give up the number one babyface position?
Right.
If And Suit Williams pointed out on Twitter, shout out to Suit, if Cody Rhodes gives up the number one babyface position, who do you think that's going to? You better get ready to acknowledge him, brother.
Yeah.
No.
Well, long term, yes. Apparently, it was going to be like they were going to turn Cena. Cena's going to be the babyface for against Cody or whatever else. But like, it's like if they did that, you already know where his head is. Like, it's going to go back to Roman as babyface. I mean, it's still going to go back to Roman as babyface eventually. But you know my point. Like, I'm not about to just let it happen.
Right, hey, Cody, like, I didn't work this hard to get here. Like, right. No, why the fuck would I give this up right now?
Right.
Oh no. Who is the funniest member of the WWE roster to realistically politic out of doing the job?
That we know of?
Yeah. If I found out Damian Priest was telling people I don't want a job for you or some shit, I'd be like, why? Like,
let's see. Liv Morgan. My answer is Liv, because like all Liv do is lose anyway. I don't think I'm gonna put over Jade Cargill. I'm good. Oh, okay.
I'm straight. Who else could be? Oh, if Andrade is out there, like no, Poppy, no, we not doing that.
Go ahead and do the no yob.
No yob, you know.
Let's
That'd be pretty funny.
Who? Oh, Dom.
Oh, they'd be like absolutely not.
That'd be funny.
What if Rey Mysterio's back there like, yeah, bro, ain't no jobs going on. Like,
that's why it's funny, because it ain't gonna be Dom doing it. It's gonna be Rey on Dom's behalf, like LeBron and Bronny.
That is sick.
Oh man,
my job.
What's Hobby King Nasty? He said, "Daddy said no." Damn it.
Logan Paul walking up to people like I appreciate doing the old Shawn Michaels. I appreciate you and that you were willing to put me over, but I am absolutely willing not to do the same for you.
Damn.
When's the last time you think they asked Randy Orton to do a job?
Oh man. Who did lose Salah to in 2020? Was it McIntyre?
McIntyre.
Might have been that.
I think it'd be funny for like Tonga Lore, Tama Tonga, like any combo of like Soul Sokoa and be like, nah, I just don't see it, big dog. Like, I don't.
Is he? When's the last time he's been on TV?
No idea.
Was he in the Rumble? Was Soul Sokoa in the Rumble?
Yes.
Okay.
Pretty sure he was. This ain't Drew. I don't think Drew really should be doing a bunch of losses like that, but I don't know how funny that would necessarily be, but yeah.
I mean, Drew acting like he doing that shit with Priest online. He called that man Timu Undertaker the other day. I was just like, oh, so this man is perpetually online in a good way. Like, Drew McIntyre is online definitely. He sees everything and he uses it.
Punk is Captain No Yob. I mean, yeah, I left Punk out of this for a reason. I mean, Punk is like,
that's not funny.
It's just like that might actually happen. Like,
right? They'd be like, oh, John Cena, Cody, Roman Reigns, and The Rock are pulling or what? Like, no, we know they're not doing that. Actually, it'd be a funny one to be like, I'm not doing no job for nobody. Seth Rollins, all he do is job.
Yeah, they'd be like, hold on, since when, nigga? That would be the answer,
right?
Yeah, that shit that Copeland pulled this weekend, brother. That is dedication to the game right there. Like, that is like, they're gonna have to write a chat in the book of like how to get out of a job. People are going to steal this. This is all timer right here. Like, they set that shit up months in advance so you ain't see it coming. And then blew the expectations and turned them a different way while you sneak out the back door. Essentially, that is a politicking masterclass right there. After stinking the bitch out. Salute the code.
While he was stinking it out.
Correct. 5D jobbing. Wow.
5D jobbing.
Look, the working, that it ain't always done in the ring, you know?
All right, man. You think it's time to wrap this up?
Yes.
Yeah. All right, y'all. Thanks for listening. If you are listening or watching from the stream, be sure to go to the show notes in the podcast when we upload it and go to the Rare Circle link to donate there. Also, be sure to check out Chop Tees for the One Nation Radio merch. And be sure to listen to other shows on the network. Besides One Nation Radio, you have Keepin It Strong Style, All Things Elite, Imps WWE Adventure, Wrestling Artwork for Things, the AEW Match Guide, Tunnel Talk, and the Trish and Sarah Wrestling Show. Thanks for listening, y'all. Later.
Peace.
Your old or broken phone can let you down when you need it most.
Perfect.
But at Verizon, trade in any old phone from our top brands and get the most for it, up to $2,000 in value, for an amazing new iPhone 16 Pro with Apple Intelligence and a new line on my plan, and iPad and Apple Watch Series 10. That's like a 3-for-1. And you can get it on any plan. At Verizon, trade in your old phone for a brand new iPhone 16 Pro, iPad, and Apple Watch. The other guys won't give you that. Visit Verizon.com today. Additional terms apply. Service plan required for Apple Watch and iPad. Up to $2,000 value based on iPhone, iPad, and Apple Watch.